moment.
All right. Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the Thursday, November 20th, 2025 school board meeting. Would you please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right. Hey, everybody. Hey, everybody.
Hi, Julie.
The first item would be our public comments. We have sort of some public. Does anybody or people in our audience, I know you're here for particular purposes. Thank you for coming. We are going to move into our scheduled topic, which is the senior trip proposal to Newport, Rhode Island. Courtney Mora. Where, can I ask, are we hoping that she will come here because then it's just next to Rachel Mazzoni? It's just then the microphone, I think, can pick you up and you're part of the
my
group.
gosh, I love that.
Okay, can I have
Yes.
clarification? I thought we were doing budget from 6 to 7.
We just wanted to make sure that instead of keeping everyone here much later, the students and the quick presentation, we're going to do budget right after.
So we did talk about, this is a regular school board meeting. This is our regular,
Yes.
so we're gonna kind of follow the regular agenda, and in the interest of, we have a lot to talk about with the budget. Mrs. Mora, Courtney Mora, and our students are gonna go first, and then we'll move straight into budget.
I just don't remember that being discussed at the last meeting. That's
It
all.
wasn't. It was. When we set the agenda, it's usually done between myself and the
Yes.
board chair, and we didn't want to keep the students here,
Yes.
so we
Okay,
made that
it's
decision.
just a
didn't talk about
surprise
it.
to other members. if
We did not talk
Okay,
about
sorry.
it publicly.
We didn't talk
Yeah.
about the public meeting.
You didn't miss it.
As it is a regular school board meeting, so we're gonna kind of follow our regular protocol. Thank you for being here late night.
Thanks. Thanks for having me. They have it on their laptop,
We have
sorry. Yeah. All right. So, well, I'm here, but not for DC. Here because now senior class advisor, it's me and Brittany Ramsey. So this year we did a class vote. We gave them 10 days to vote. And the choices were whitewater rafting, North Conway, Newport, Rhode Island. The majority vote was Newport. So what's going to happen with Newport, Rhode Island is I took feedback from the kids as well because I'm going through a travel agency, so I can switch up whatever I need, whatever. And I thought the kids would love the ghost tour, but they were like, no, please don't. And I was like, oh, darn it. So
It was awesome.
yeah, I love ghost tours. And they were like, come on. So I switched it up. So what we did instead to cut costs also is we're going to leave, we'd be leaving Saturday morning and then coming home Monday afternoon, since the seniors won't have school that Monday. It'll push off rehearsals, so they'd be able to do that. So we already put that through with Mr. Mazzoni and talked about all that. So we're gonna leave. We would leave that Saturday morning, 7 a.m. ish. We'll go down. We're gonna stay down in Newport the first day. We're gonna go to the beach first. After that, we're gonna go check in at the hotel. Then we're gonna go back, have a sit down dinner. All the kids can dress up real nice, and then we're gonna do a sunset cruise around the harbor. And then after that, we're gonna have them have a little bit of free time in downtown Newport, Rhode Island to explore. We'll go back to the hotel. Then we're going to wake up the next morning, pack up, and we're going to go to Six Flags all day long. And then we're going to go back to the hotel, which is a different one, in Enfield, Connecticut. And then we're going to wake up, have breakfast, and start heading home for that. So with this, it's the same company I've been using for DC. I actually ended up really liking them this year for DC Landmark. They're really ahead of it. They're always on top of it. I have questions. They get back less than 24 hours, which is awesome. I took out the motor coach. That would have been about $10,000. So I took that out. And then I ended up asking the rec department if we can borrow their 2 buses, and graciously they're going to give us 2 of their buses. If we get more kids, then I'll just have to go back to the drawing board to look at rentals. So things like that, get the kids stuff in that rental car, like their bags and whatnot, and bring those down. The 4 people we would have go is Necton, Mr. Necton, me, obviously, Ramsey, obviously, and then also Maria Hendrickson's going to be going as well. Just because we couldn't have the kids decide who could go as chaperones, because I had to do it based on who could drive the buses. So really, I was like, great people, though, right? So they were like, yeah, I'm like, if anybody has an issue, just email me. I didn't get any emails. I thought I'd get some about me, but nobody emailed, so we're all good. So, and then what we're doing is fundraising, right? So I know that's a big thing, is like asking how to fundraise to keep these trips costs low, because I want everyone to go. So we have done, oh my gosh, 50-50 raffles at the senior games. We're going to be doing concessions. I've been working with Mr. Goldsack about concessions. So we have 3 games next week that we're doing. We're doing a movie night as well for any age can go. Even parents can go if they'd like to bring their child. We're doing that on December 5th. And then we're also doing wrapping, so a gift wrapping. So it's like wrapping up senior year. We'll be doing that on the 5th and the 12th as well. So we have a bunch of fundraising opportunities that these kids have been going for. So it's been actually pretty awesome. And in the 2 months that we've been fundraising, we've raised almost over 2,000, I think. So, and all that is going right to the senior class trip to bring down the costs for the kids, which is great. I had to put a cap in that, so then we can have more money also for the end of the year activities too, as well, which is great. There is insurance on the trip, so if the kids, they have to sign up within 14 days of the signups to get that insurance. So if they get sick, anything like that, they are guaranteed over 70% of their money back. And that's pretty much it.
What's the cost of the trip?
Right now, if we have that $5,000 in there, it's around $660 a kid.
$660 per person.
I think that was my only concern, was the cost, because it
Yeah.
is more expensive. I did go back and look at the past
Yeah.
couple years, and it's more.
Way
And
more.
I think the point is to get
Everybody to go. Yep.
So that was my only, it's just a concern. It's not a hesitation. It's
Yep.
just that we want all of our kids to
Agreed,
go.
100%.
Right.
And so that's why.
But not all your kids don't go because of cost.
What's that?
I said there are kids that don't go. It has nothing to do with cost.
Correct. It would be more of like they just don't want to
They
go.
don't want to
Yeah.
go,
Yeah.
or family
Yep.
doesn't
Yep.
want them to go, or whatever. 'Cause,
Yep.
Yeah, just
Yep.
like middle school. There's a lot that stay
Sa-
back
middle
because
school,
of their
same thing.
parents, not about the cost.
Yep. Or the child. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Having
Will
that.
you put some sort of notification that if cost is prohibitive of attending? Because I feel like as a school district, we need to acknowledge that.
Yeah.
So if I think if a family were to reach out to say my child would like to go but is not able.
Yep.
We work with those families.
Yeah.
Yes.
Whether that's through a PTO donation, we've
Sure.
had generous parents have
Yeah.
funded other children
Yeah.
to go. We're very
Yeah.
generous community, and those who wish to go, usually we find a way to make
Find a way to
make
make
it
it
make
go.
it happen.
That's what matters.
Yeah, 100%. And then also, I've been working with the boosters, or Project Grad, sorry, too, as well. So we've been in communication too about fundraising and money and making sure that a lot of those kids can get on that trip.
Yeah.
And whether that's they cover costs for certain things, transportation or whatever it may be, to keep lowering those prices, we can do that too. So, yep, as long as we can get it going. I mean, first timer here, so just trying to get through the trenches, you know. So, yeah.
The only question I have
Yes.
is you're calling this educational tours.
Yes, because we're going to be in Newport, Rhode Island. They can also do a cliff walk. They're going to do the cruise through the harbor, which we will have a landmark tour leader that'll be discussing all of the stuff around it as well. So it's actually educational as well. So we're going to be throwing that in there. The other thing, if they don't want to go to the beach too, they can go to the mansions, the Breakers mansions and stuff like that as well. Yeah.
I just think if we're asking, if we want to be asking people to help pay,
Yep.
we have to really show how it's educational.
Yep.
Six Flags is not an education. It's and I agree with it. It's a fun. I loved it.
Yeah.
Washington's different.
Oh,
You
way
go to
different.
State House. You
Oh,
go
yeah.
here. You
You're
go
going
there.
everywhere.
Educational.
Yep.
Right along with the civics
Yep.
curriculum, right?
Yep.
I've been to all of the mansions in Newport, and I've been on the Ghost Court. It's
Oh, yeah.
awesome.
Thank you. See?
And I will tell
Seniors.
you as you're walking, they'll like post.
Oh my gosh, see? Maybe I'll just do
I
it
will say
myself.
though, it is off hours, so it's a Saturday, Sunday, Monday.
Yeah.
So
But you are advertising it as an educational tour.
are we? I think
Yes.
we advertise it as a senior
Right there,
trip.
educational tours.
That's the
That's the company
that we're
name.
using.
That's
What
the
is
our
company.
what it,
This is This is
It's advertised as the senior trip.
Oh, here, sorry. Oh my god.
I
sorry.
think senior trips shouldn't have to do anything with education, honestly. I think it
Senior
should
trip-
be
it's
the
a
last year that
It's a
they are.
last hurrah.
It's really
It's the last hurrah that
This is
they're,
it.
and it shouldn't have anything to do with
Yeah.
you have to provide education.
We're going to
for
have
it.
a great
What do our
time.
students think? We have a senior.
Yeah,
do you
we
have a
do.
thought on that? We're talking about your trip. Do you want to go?
I just
no pressure.
I agree about the cost. It's
Yeah.
definitely a lot.
You don't have
That's
to.
all
you don't
I
have
need.
to- We're talking about. I'm just.
Right.
I was,
No,
I
yeah,
put you on the
it's
spot.
right.
If you have something to add,
No, I
feel free.
definitely think it will be fun, and
I just
a
hope we
good
can get a
time,
lot of
but
kids to go.
yeah,
That's my
I'm-
biggest
Yeah.
thing.
I'm definitely worried about the cost personally and for like other students.
Mhm,
Yep.
mhm.
But like everything, it's a personal choice,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah.
So I think it's hard to ask the community to help pay for that cost for a fun event that's not a school event. You know, it is a school event, but it's not, really isn't. I know you're saying it's an educational thing, but it is a great, I mean, it's fun. It shouldn't have to do with education in the senior trip. The senior trip should be about just having fun together with your last senior class and all of that stuff.
I wish we never had it, but there's no way to bring 910 seniors.
Well, we used to go to Bahamas and Bermuda and all that stuff when my
It's not
senior
about
class. So
seniors, not about pull, you know.
I hear you. So I'm just like saying it's hard when you want to start asking people to donate for something that I think a lot of people think would be fun. This is a fun trip,
Yeah.
and it is.
Yeah.
But it's not like Nature's Classroom.
Nope.
But in my opinion, Nature's Classroom should be paid for by the school. That's
They
my
pay for the
opinion.
bus.
And the
They pay
bus,
for the bus.
that's my opinion, because that is a 100% educational week that these kids are
Live out,
going.
like outside a lot.
Yeah, well, everything is about outside. It's outdoor classroom.
Yeah.
Is what it is.
Yep.
So I
Yeah.
think
And
and
the
it's
great
all
thing
about
too, right,
choices,
so, like-
what parents want, what
Yeah.
kids and
And my middle schoolers too. The good thing with them is we're doing the calendar sales right now, which is gift cards. It's all donated by parents and stuff. So 100% goes right back to the kid. Well, it goes in a class account, but I have it all categorized out. So with that, right, I have already on there. I put, if you'd like to make a generous donation, please email me.
yeah, that's
And
all
I've
you can do.
gotten
Yeah,
5 people.
yeah,
Which is awesome. And again, their choice, right? So
Right.
again, it doesn't have to be educational. It could be a fun trip. As long as we propose it as that and people
Yeah.
know what they're paying for.
exactly.
I
That's
think
all.
that's
That's
I
the
think that's
important thing. I
exactly
think
what we
people
need
need
to
to
put
know
in.
what they're
Yep,
paying for. That's it.
100%, Robin.
Yeah,
100%.
that's all. You have to let people know what they're
Yep.
paying for.
Yeah, thank
Yeah.
you.
No, I think I think it's awesome.
Yeah.
And I like that it's mixing it up from Washington.
Yeah. Well, yeah, because it's seniors. I mean,
Well,
it's,
I like that you're giving the seniors some say in it because
Yeah.
they've done Indian Head a few times. They
Yeah.
did Hotopia last year.
Yep.
Yeah,
It's their
and
trip.
they've done
I like
whitewater
that they have
rafting, and they've
some-
done other things.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So this will be a
yeah,
nice little.
yeah. I mean, it should be
Hoorah.
their trip.
Yeah.
I
Good
try
for
to
you
get them to
for-
go to.
Good for you for getting the rec buses. You gonna fit them all in there?
You know, well, that's the thing. So if it goes over the amount, you know, I'm doing the
Is that
math. I'm like,
double?
So you have an idea how many are going now?
So what happens with the Landmark company is that they give you a pricing for 25, 30, 35, 50. So it depends on the amount of kids that go.
Okay.
So the price could change depending on how many kids go and how many kids don't
What
go.
is our senior class number?
40,
42.
Ooh,
Smallest one of our
Very
schools.
small.
Yeah.
I had 4,000 in my senior
Quick
class.
graduation though.
Yeah,
Yeah.
very quick.
That's
Mine was
Positive.
4 hours long
Depends
at
on the
Pinkerton.
speakers.
Yeah.
Just kidding.
Yeah,
Just kidding.
yeah, yeah. Oh, too
Four
fast.
chairs
Wow.
can give a speech.
It's
No,
a great college
no,
to visit.
definitely
not.
Selby Regina, it's right there. Yeah.
Gorgeous.
To Maria
It's-
went.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's funny because Ramsey was actually trying to reach out to the was going to reach
nice
out to Selby Regina see if we could sleep in the dorms, but she hasn't heard back. So. But I was like, oh, that's cool.
Oh,
That'd be cool.
so
That would be
That'd
so
be
cool.
cool. So-
Yeah.
Bring back my college days.
For seniors to experience.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
I wonder
That'd
if you,
That'd be
just
pretty cool.
throwing it out there, but if you get more than the rec buses can hold,
Yep.
you get a quote for a regular school bus.
Yep.
Maybe you share that with us.
Yep. Yeah. Sounds good.
Just
to me.
saying.
Mm.
It's going to be June. We're going to be at the end of our budget.
Yeah. It'll be
Should be
June.
wrapped up.
So,
It'll be June.
I mean, if you're talking about a few $100s
Yep.
for a yellow school bus,
Yep. Yep. Those
Then
good old
that's,
little
you know,
Not
buses.
as cool as a coach bus.
it's also not as cool. I mean, the rec buses are cool, but
Yeah.
Having said that, I just have one. First of all,
Go
thank
ahead.
you so much for. That's your time, and it's a lot of time,
Thank
right?
you.
So thank you so much for putting all that together and
Thank
making
you.
that possible for kids. I do just want to say though, like, they're not academic trips. They're not, it's just like Europe. And so when we do things like this, I think we have to be careful that my question was really our comment. It's not a question, it's a comment. And it's not really for you, it's just for the general consumption. But I think when we plan for chaperones, because I know before we have seen on the manifest something come through that's like a trip related thing, but it wasn't really a school trip. It's like the Europe trip or something else. And so I think that we need to be mindful of those things, that we're not burdening a budget with something that wasn't really a budgetary item or planned for the budget. So I just kind of want to put that out there that, while you say if you come talk to us, like, or whatever.
In advance versus we had a situation where we had to replace a suitcase, we had some transportation needs, we had some on one of the other trips, the spring break trips.
Okay.
So I would just say, and that's not for you, that's just for the,
okay.
again, for the general consumption,
Okay.
that would affect my willingness to say, yeah, I'm all in support, I approve, if I knew in advance that something was going to be a cost to the budget. Okay, then I know in advance, but I don't like that something comes after the fact of the budget that we didn't really know about, that we're like, well, wait, we approved this trip, but we didn't approve that it was going to cost us money. So again, that has nothing to do with your being here. I just want to kind of like put that out there. That
No, this is good for me to know. So if I do this again, then I know what to do, you know, because I always plan DC like a year in advance so that it's always ready to go.
Yeah. So I think we
So
saw
I think
saw on the manifest a couple
what you're
of
alluding to, Jen,
reimbursements.
is in the collective bargaining agreement there is some arrangement for pay when the teachers spend the night and they give up this time, and so that is what the cost of that trip could be.
No, not even that, because we know that that's part of the
Right.
That's
collective
part of it,
bargaining
yeah.
agreement. We know that. We know that teachers can put in for stuff, and as they should, right? I believe that if you're going above and beyond something that's outside of the classroom, there should be some compensation for you. I firmly believe in that. I'm talking like I know that we had and I don't know how much I need to go into, but like we've had like a hotel room for an admin that needed to go on a trip, but it wasn't like, why are we paying a hotel room? Like that should be, if somebody's going as a chaperone, that should be inclusive in this cost that is being absorbed and divided out.
And that's what this is. This is all included.
And so that's what I'm just, that's what I'm talking about.
Right.
I don't want to see like surprise things like, oh, well, we approved this trip, but I didn't really know that it was going to come. I don't want to see surprises.
Yeah, you don't want to see like another $635 charge
Yeah,
for a
so
hotel
for
room.
example, you
Yeah.
decided all of a
For
sudden
someone
it's
to
raining,
attend.
you can't go to the beach, and you're going to take 30 kids to the ghost tour.
Oh, yeah.
But then I'm just using this as an example.
Yep.
You put it on your credit card, it's $700.
Yep.
And then that gets billed back to the school district.
Gotcha.
That's the kind of thing that we,
Beyond
because
it,
we see every line item of every reimbursement, and it'll say senior trip, Courtney Moore reimbursement, and it'll have a price, and it'll say, and then we say,
Why is that?
why is that?
Mhm.
Right.
Why is that? So
Yep.
that's the kind of thing that is best as
Yeah,
not a
and
surprise.
We want to avoid.
Which
Well,
I
also-
get. I 100%
I know
get
that
that.
it's district and taxpayer dollars, but I feel like I'm a taxpayer too. And
No, I know.
when I look through that manifest, my
Right.
husband always knows when I'll be like shouting or like,
Yeah.
he's like, oh, you must be reading the manifest.
Yeah, that's my husband with the new playground at our
Yeah.
school.
Like,
He's
what is this about?
Right.
Yeah.
Yes.
And
And,
there's-
you're right,
there's a
Jen.
good-
We've got to be careful too. Like when you had said, you know, it's the end of the school year, come to us in June. Then you're setting a precedence too. We got to be very careful of what
Well,
we're
for sure.
What we're doing is like, you can't say, oh well, it's only, you know, if we can get a yellow bus and it's only $400 more, let's spend $400 on that. But next year you can't do that. But it's another trip. So you're going to be very, very careful of where you're going to draw the line of what you want to do for school sponsored trips. And I'm an advocate. If it's a school sponsored trip, the school should be paying for it.
Yeah.
I-
And be consistent,
And be
right?
consistent
with it.
Consistent
And be
with
consistent
what
with
we
it.
agree
Yeah.
to
But
support
you're
or-
going to be careful
Yeah.
of that.
Yeah.
You know, we
Well, I'm
ran,
just
we
saying,
ran
if
into
they
that,
get-
right, Bill? With
Yep.
we bought soccer rings one year, but we
Right. Yeah.
wouldn't want
No,
to do
you're
it
right.
another year. And it's like, no, you have to be consistent with what you want to do and what's
No, you're right. I was
what's-
just
what's
saying
nice.
more
Yeah.
in
You know?
terms of the buses is like, what if they get 40 kids that the rec
Signed up.
buses can't come?
Now I got
And
20.
now now they're asked anyway.
Yep, yep. And I put that in here too. I also put it out to the kids as well. for the cost of transportation, the difference, and all that stuff. So everybody's
That's
fully
what
aware
kills
of
you
it.
with these trips. It's transportation. It's transportation.
It's a
that
killer.
kills you.
It's a killer.
I mean, if anything, if we could buy 2 buses for transportation, wouldn't that be amazing?
oh yeah,
That's coming
Yeah.
next year.
I was just gonna
I
say,
mean,
I'm
no,
like,
really. I mean,
I was gonna actually ask
transportation is what
somebody
kills you.
just for me about that.
I mean, like you said, if you've
We're
got the
thinking
motor
of-
coach,
Yeah.
it's $10,000 to
Yeah.
get the motor coach bus.
Yep. And
That's-
next year,
that's
too,
crazy.
the class is huge.
And to go to Newport, Rhode Island,
That's two motor coaches next year.
Yeah.
Oh.
There'd have to be.
yeah, to go to Newport, Rhode
Yeah.
Island,
Yep.
that's just crazy.
Yep. It was about like I think it was $8,000.
Let's just
Yeah.
find some vans. We'll
Yeah.
drive them
Yeah.
down.
Yep. Yep.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah,
I know how to
We
drive
can do
a
it. We can
minivan.
do it.
I
Sorry.
know.
Okay.
Do
Sorry.
it.
So-
you can do a
I
convoy.
think, are there any other questions
Be a
for
free show.
Courtney?
Mm-mm.
All right.
Perfect.
Do I have a motion to approve the senior trip proposal to Newport, Rhode Island?
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Jen, seconded by Matt. All in favor? All
And you
opposed?
should go on the
That
ghost tour.
passes
It is
4-0.
awesome because you
4-0.
learn all about not just the ghost tour. You learn all about the pirates
You do.
that brought children into the cave and left them there.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, there's a big thing
And it's
there.
very memorable.
It is very memorable.
Maybe you could just tell me and then.
Yeah.
Maybe you should go be a chaperone.
We're
I
downtown
would love
Newport
to be a
after dinner. We're
chaperone.
like, and then over here.
Let's
Yeah.
FaceTime.
Flickered. See, they're here with
Let's
us.
FaceTime
Mhm.
Robin.
Yeah,
she
we'll
can tell
FaceTime
us
you.
as we
She'll
walk
tell
out.
you.
Robin's gonna chaperone.
Yeah.
actually.
Robin's gonna show up. She's like,
Do you
"You
know how
guys,
to drive a bus?
Yeah.
I have a friend that can drive a bus, and he'll do it for free.
School bus
She always does
certification.
it.
I'll drive. you.
Always,
Chaperone.
always.
We gotta have friends everywhere.
Courtney, thank you so
All right,
much
thank
for
you
your
for coming.
efforts.
Appreciate it.
and
Thanks
putting
for
this
coming.
together.
I also
Thank
know
you.
a place they can have dinner too.
Appreciate you.
I was gonna say I'll see you tomorrow, but I won't. I'll see you guys tomorrow.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Thank
Thank you.
Good job, Courtney.
Thank you.
We are gonna go to our students and their student reports.
So for this week, we kind of put together like some cool things that are happening around the school, and then just a few highlights from like one highlight from every class of just like cool
yeah.
assignments. So you're not gonna get overwhelmed by what we're talking about.
We also have some past things that happened within the last meeting that we were at. So, well, recently for athletics, winter sport tryouts have started this week, and the basketball schedules are out for the season. Opening night for basketball, which is December 6th, they'll be raising the banner for the baseball championship, and SALT will be doing a fundraiser to purchase stocking stuffers, so hopefully it'll be a good turnout.
The boys soccer team made it to the championship again this year. Unfortunately, they lost, but they did a really good job. Football made the playoffs for the first time in, I think, 4 years. Volleyball made the playoffs again for like the 20th year straight or something like that. So that's pretty good. National Honor Society ran a district-wide food drive and also is collecting like Thanksgiving fixings, and then we also got turkeys, which we're going to give out to families in our community, and they're going to kind of pack up boxes of all the things that we've collected next week, and then they'll be seeing them off on Wednesday morning. Youth in Government, which is a club run by Mr. Roddy, who's our world cultures teacher, just went on a field trip to Concord, and they got to learn more about like how the government works and different processes within that.
So, juniors and seniors had a lot of opportunities to meet with local colleges that came to the school and like had conversations with us. And then seniors also had their free New Hampshire application today for colleges. Students also completed their student-led conferences earlier this November. Freshman English and history classes are doing a combined unit right now, talking about migration and people's motivations for migration.
In English 2, students are writing memoirs, and then in world cultures, they're learning about that Iranian Revolution. In civics, students are starting to learn more about the branches of government and just finished their unit on voting. In 11th grade English, students are completing their exploration narrative summatives and moving on to their persuasion unit. In English 4, students are writing research papers and preparing for like debates within their class. Honors English 4 just finished reading The Scarlet Letter, and then AP Environmental Science did a lab about plate tectonics using frosting, graham crackers, and fruit roll-ups.
Criminology is learning about DNA and how it's collected from crime scenes. In graphic design, students are creating their own fake YouTube channels using graphics that we've learned about on our computers. And then in SST, Health science is learning about the medical terminology. The marketing class is making food trucks. The biomed and technology class just completed an exam on cell biology and column chromatography, and now is moving on to plant tissue culture, which is like cloning plants.
Plant and animal science seniors are working on tree identification and also like giving animals medication, so whether that's a pill or a liquid medication. The juniors are learning about diseases. The senior careers and education is working on lesson plans as well as like job shadows. So in my class today, there was a student from the careers and education who came in and sat and listened to my teacher give her lesson. And then the health science seniors are starting their LNA practicals, so they're in the hospital. So yeah, that's everything.
Thank you. That's
Thank
awesome.
you.
Gives us a nice snapshot of what's happening.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
I have a question for you.
Yeah.
I would like to see if there's two electives that I'm very interested in. I would like to see in the future of our school. So if you could go back and talk to the kids or whatever. But I'm very interested in having an elective for women's studies.
Okay.
The worth of a woman, the strength of a woman, the protection of oneself as a woman. This is not the me. This is not the me campaign type of thing. This is just a women study young girls, what their body means to them, the protection of their body, all that stuff. So
With the women's self-defense.
it's a wealth. Yep, absolutely. But just like your worth as a woman, you know.
I might know some people.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say
Um,
teacher
Jen
identified.
And then the other one is conflict resolution.
Mm.
With students learning how to, this is what you've done, this is the consequence of it, how are you going to deal with that? How do you role play, like with, how do you, because we all know the drama in school, right, middle, high school and whatever. How do we learn how to communicate better with each other so that we don't have the conflict, but try to learn how we have a resolution to what's going on in the relationship or whatever it be. A lot of it's always misunderstanding. So how do we find out? Like, how do you learn to deal with that? And with social media, you don't get to see the person. But when you're in a conflict resolution class, you're basically one-on-one and you're learning how to navigate those tools that you need to learn how to deal with conflict in life.
Do we have a legal class that does like mock trials and like?
Well,
That's not where you're like-
mock trials is
But
more
I'm kind of thinking
different.
they could kind of play together.
Yeah, I mean,
in a way.
conflict
yeah,
resolution to me is like, you said this and this is this, and how do you
but
like
then you take it to
confront
small
people?
claims court.
How do you confront
Judge Judy.
people, like each other? And how do you learn how to listen to the truth of each other? Like, how do you learn to listen to each other without judgment right away? It's like, like, yeah, like, I don't know, how to deal with conflict and how to deal with it in a productive, non-violent, aggressive way. Because not everything has to be violent, like hands and fists. The tongue is the worst weapon we have. So I just think it's if kids could learn how to talk to each other better, I think a lot more conflict could be solved with that. And like I said, with women's studies, I think it's so important today, especially with social media that's going on. I think it's important for women to know how to protect themselves.
I'm going to give you a task. Maybe you could ask or find out, how do new courses get proposed?
Right.
So that could be like, ask our leadership people, like, how does a teacher, because somebody has to want to teach it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And when do they have to create a course description and a course, somebody has to want to teach it. So maybe you could bring to us too, are there any new ideas for new classes for next year? Are there any new ideas? When does it have to, because it has to, you select your classes, you choose your classes, so you have to back it up. But maybe you could bring these ideas that this is something Robin suggested, but how would teachers propose a new class?
And women's studies could be part of the health program. And then you also can have men's studies. I mean, you can have different units of what you're doing, right? It doesn't all have to be about,
Yeah. Well, I mean, it does come down to, is there a teacher at the school that wants to
well, we
teach
have a
it?
health teacher, don't we?
Right, but they have many sections and.
Yeah, I
that's what I'm
was gonna
saying
say
is-
our health class is pretty in depth and does
Yeah.
touch on a lot of the things
Things,
that
yeah.
you're talking about in like the women's studies elective.
Mhm.
So
I would have to see the curriculum.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
So,
would have to see
yeah.
the curriculum of that.
Also, maybe for next month when you come, if could you maybe get something cool that's happening at the middle school and maybe something cool. You don't have to give us the whole run through,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
like something exciting, 6 through 8, and something exciting K through 5
Yeah.
or even preschool.
Mhm.
Just to
okay.
add that in. It's not a huge task. So
Because I love the new
Whether
electives
it's
that they put forward
lip sync or
this year.
you know,
you
they
know.
do. They do.
Yeah,
good
they're
things,
doing good, but
fundraisers.
It's
and
just how
whatever.
there's an issue with the youth today.
Yeah.
We have to learn how to, you know, this is a great place to learn how to try to communicate better with each other as youths. So
And I was going to look at my calendar. The next time you will be here, can you look
December
at that?
18th.
December 18th.
oh, that's right. 'cause
So
you're in
December
Columbia.
18th
Yeah.
would be the next student
Right before
report.
break.
All right, December 18th.
Of course, you can come anytime you want.
Yeah, you can come anytime you want. Like you're not busy at all.
No.
I know, Rachel.
Yeah. So, no, that's great. We do appreciate your input. We
Yeah.
always appreciate you coming. Any other comments
Nope.
for our students? Do you have any comments for us before we dive into budget?
Do you have any comments for us? Isn't that the end of the meeting?
I know. No. All right. Well, thank you so much.
Thank
Appreciate
you.
it.
Thank you.
You're welcome to stay, but if you sneak out, I won't call you.
It's my dad's birthday.
Yeah,
so-
yeah.
Oh,
boy.
Oh, who's
Yes.
that? Like, how is he? Is he?
That's exciting. Happy birthday to him.
That's good. Spend time with
Okay.
Dad.
Yep, we're gonna move into the 26-27 budget review.
So I'm going to start and then I'm going to hand it over to Christine. And I just want to say this year, as we all know, has been a little different. In a lot of ways, I think it's gone very smoothly.
Mhm.
However, now it's the board's first opportunity to ask us questions, dive deeper into it, and go from there. However, I do want to start with an update since it's always a living kind of document when we first present it to the budget committee, and then things have changed. So I just want to remind everyone here that our first overall increase was a 6.1%. The proposed budget was $26,268,429. Our default budget was a 4.85%. As we've talked about, most of those drivers were new teacher contracts and the second year of a para contract as well, already voter approved. Salaries and benefits are always the major drivers in those areas. So we felt the 6.1% was a very reasonable request over the 4.8%. However, some updates since then have come in. We always put a placeholder in there for insurance. We never know quite what that insurance number is going to be and where that is, and that's based on usage, our own staff and their usage of that. I'm very pleased to let you know that came in at a much lower number. Christine will give us the details, but that's one of the drivers in actually a reduction that I actually have in before you this evening. So we are now at an overall increase of 4.68%, down to $25,915,570. With the default budget also at 3.73%. Now you might be asking what are some of those other drivers?
Can you say that number again? 3 point.
It's right in the.
It's
It's,
right-
it's
sorry.
always sorry. It's
Sorry.
right in your book.
Okay.
I'm just looking at the second page of your book and giving you that update. So, and they are in our drive as well. Anyone who's watching live can follow along and look at those budget packets that way as well. So what were the other two major drivers? One is the loader discussion, which you're going to get an update later in this meeting around. But thanks to the cooperation between the board and the town, it has been decided to withdraw the loader from the budget and actually pay for that solution through impact fees. And the impact fees, we do have some that are retiring in 2028, which we do have to use up. And so that's actually part of our presentation a little bit later with Josh and Christine around what that proposal is. But that is one of the major reductions is $140,000 of the loader has come out of that budget. And then through natural attrition, I know that there was some direction of not cutting any positions. However, we did have through natural attrition a retirement, and that is the library media aide position that is shared between between the elementary school and EMHS. And we have decided that that would remain out of the budget, and so that is also a reduction. And whenever you have a position reduction, it's reduced out of the proposed, and it's also reduced out of the default. So that's why you're seeing some reductions in the default budget as well. So I'm very pleased, and I'll turn it over to Christine, who can walk through a little bit more of those details, and then we're going to open it up for questions from you. As far as the presentation goes, we are not having the administration come again. We're not going through line by line. We are here this evening to listen to any questions, answer any questions that we can immediately. Or if you've come with your own questions, we might say, yep, we'll get back to you at next meeting, because we have both this meeting and next meeting to finalize the budget between us. And again, Christine will go over the timeline. And then we'll meet with the budget committee once again, once we have finalized that budget, and we'll present the final budget and warrant articles back to the budget committee for their final approval. So very pleased that you have before you right now a 4.68% increase over the proposed budget and a default budget of 3.73%.
Okay, so Bill kind of just spoke to most of it, but again, like Bill spoke to, the Primex rates come in, and those are our workers' comp, our unemployment, and our building liability insurances. Every year, we don't get those rates until towards the end of October. So those rates came in, and they did produce a savings to the budget. So those ones are reflected in your 2,900 lines. So I noted those on the sheets of where those belong. Also, our health insurance rates came in, which again, like, I'm always impressed with this district that somehow we managed to always be at the very low rate of increases. Health Trust did a little bit different the last 2 years, that they don't do like an overall district like 9% increase. They do it by plan now. So our Access Blue plan, which is our most popular plan, dropped by 0.1%. And then our SOS plan increased by 8.6%, but we don't have as many staff on the 8.6%, but that did have an increase, but you see a decrease because the 1% on the other side. So it was only $174,000 savings, but it's a good savings when you're looking at those rates, and our employees are going to feel that too, because their health rates are going to drop a little bit. And then, like Bill spoke to, is the media specialist is our next reduction on there. So you have the total reduced to $380,184, and through that there was some other increases that came into this. So SST has created a new electrical program, and they want to get this up and running, but that comes with a cost to everyone that goes to SST. So they're predicting about an $85 per student increase there. So we added that increase into the budget, which is about $16,468. The number's kind of fluid because they're basing it on, they're hoping to have, I think it was 660.
Three sections of, yeah.
So it depends how many students they get enrolled, would depend what their actual cost is. And then how many students we have attending will depend on what our cost is. So we just kind of put the placeholder in there from what we've been told. The water from the town has increased 3%. So that wasn't in the original budget, but the sewer didn't increase, but the water did. So it's minimal, but it was a $2,126 increase for the water portion of the bill. And then the last piece is just an increase to our annuity line. Those are kind of in our retirement lines, but there are some people that receive annuities through their contracts. And when their salaries increase, their annuities increase. And so I just wanted to make sure we took into account the annuity increases there for those individuals that receive the annuity plans. So I did note throughout that sheet that you have in front of you which lines those affect. So that way when you're looking at your budget book and you're thinking, all right, so we cut these costs, where do I look? you would just look to the line that's noted usually 10.2900, and that's where you're going to reflect those lines. But as Bill said, that we've spent the last few meetings with the budget committee, and it's been a great process. It was really different this year to present to the budget committee first, and not you. So it was great, but it also drove some really good conversations. I feel like there was more skin in the game. I feel like they really looked at the budget and asked really good questions and really, like, you know, paid attention to what was happening versus the budget coming to them in like November, December, and it's their first view at the budget. Now we're like crunching timelines and we're getting almost towards warrant articles, and they're like, wait, we still don't know what the numbers are. So I think this has helped them like calm down and like look at it and really pay attention to what that's doing. So I hope you guys have enjoyed that process too. But through that, most of you attended the meetings and have been there. Some of you have been at every meeting. And you've also had the budget. I sent it to you, I think, November, what day was that? Got emailed to you. November 11th. It was emailed to you, so hopefully you've had a chance to take a look. There has been a few changes, like I said, since the original email. But this is your opportunity through all that conversation, all the presentations, all the budgets I have sent you throughout the last couple of months to just, what have you seen? Where do you think things are? What do you think we could change? It's your moment. It's your budget.
That sounded like an Oscar.
It's your moment.
It's your
It's your
moment.
moment.
It's your budget.
moment.
It's your time,
Yeah.
and we do have two budget committees here, two budget committee members here. I'm so happy they joined us because in the
Yes.
past, when we've
Yes.
had board meetings, they have
Yes.
not joined us. So I love this process because
Yeah.
they show up, and so thank you guys for coming.
Yeah.
But if there are questions you have about their directive that they gave us and why they reached the number that they decided to have us cut, which they had given us a directive to come to the 4.5%, which is our original default. So that was about $288,000 is what they were guiding us to come in at. So they are here if you have questions. To them
I
as well.
just wanted to ask them, both of the budget committee members, with understanding, because I was the one that put the warrant article in to change all this, because I wanted the budget committee to be adhering to the way the law said that you're supposed to be adhering, right? And I think what it has done, it has allowed the budget committee to understand the budget a whole lot better, right? I think the questions have been so much better than in the past. The dialogue between both the school and the town had better, and that was the whole purpose of if you're going to be a budget committee, right? You need to do it the right way. So I'm glad. I think it's been a success doing it that way, and I think we've been able to have really good conversations back and forth when the school board presented, when all the administrators presented, the technology, facilities, and all that. I think everything went pretty smoothly. And I think it made each other understand more, because the budget, it is difficult, but when you're especially when you're dealing with like special education and doing it, what laws can you do and what you can't do, what holds your hands that you can't touch on the budget, what can you move around and all that. So I personally think it was worth putting it through. I think it's worked out well.
So you're looking for input from
We
us.
are looking for
Okay.
input from you
So
guys.
I'm gonna let other people speak first. If people have specific thoughts on budget, I do appreciate you providing this spreadsheets. It's very clear where you've been able to, what the increases and decreases are.
Can I jump in? A question
Go for
about
it.
the tuition, the vocational piece, the 5561.30. It went down 43,000.
What page you on?
I'm on the Excel sheet. My apologies.
So while Christine is looking for that, I will talk a little bit about what drivers are. Drivers are class size and number of students that enroll. And right now, we particularly have a small senior class, so you probably did see a reduction from the previous We typically hover right around 60 students that participate in SST, and this year we had 42. So that would be a reduction in the budget or so. So we go by class size, and then the other factor that is changing that you just heard about is the tuition increase because of the addition of the electrical program, which is roughly $16,000 is what's estimated as our con. So it's moving in both directions at the same time with student enrollment and also then a possible increase based on the electrical programming.
So yeah, just like Bill said. So this current year we have $263,000 budgeted. So to come down to 220 is a $43,000
Right.
budget decrease. However, that was $203 when we presented the budget due to student enrollment and tuition. So because of the new electrical cost, it's now $220. So it's an increase over the original presented budget, but a decrease over last year's budget. So you got two waves.
No, absolutely. And I'm wondering if, look, we always look at budget of ways. I'm wondering, is that realistic, the 43,000 decrease with a small class leaving senior year, another larger class coming in? Would we have potentially more students?
So the class behind it is 48. Right now we're at 42.
Yeah.
So
So-
that's why
That
we
makes sense.
we
did
did not
have
go
50
back up to
students.
the normal 60 students. We suspect that it will be lower than what we have historically
Right.
had. What we do is we go by our average, and we typically have quite a percentage of our students actually participate in SST, and we do have budgeted pretty accurately, thankfully. And but that's where sometimes it's a little bit of science, a little bit of guessing.
But also with the electrical program, that means that SST can host more kids.
Correct.
Exactly.
Which then, so if
Hoping
because
that
I'm
we
on the
can
SST board, governing board, let's just say they have 600 this year, it's I think a little over that.
Mm.
But if they add 70 more kids to a new program,
Right.
and it goes up to 670, that brings our overall cost down per pupil.
Right.
So that would be,
Yes.
it is messy, but it would benefit us.
So we never get, just for the sake of the conversation, and I know Julie understands this, is exactly what she just said. We never know the final tuition
Right.
rate until actually the very beginning of the
It's
school
like
year.
October
Mhm.
And when,
first,
when they have their final enrollments, and then we start getting billed. So again, it's that dilemma. Here it is November, and we're trying to budget out as best as we can.
on the
Right.
first of all.
It all depends what programs they're offering, like how many kids sign up for stuff. But I love the fact that Epping, we will not deny kids to go to SST because of budget. Other districts will cap it. They'll say, nope, we can't have any more. We're only going to do 50
Yeah.
kids, and that's that. And I love that we don't do that because I think SST is such a valuable program to our kids. And electrical, fantastic. I
Yeah,
love
this
it.
is a couple of years in the
I love
making.
it that you can have these programs for kids.
It's great.
Absolutely. All the programs.
Yeah, all the programs, whatever they can offer, I think is great.
Other questions about the budget?
Let's go up. When free one comes, it might go up again.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
Ben's working his calculator over there. Want me to jump in while you're? I don't want to.
These are the
Trump
two tech
anybody.
guys, and I'm just going to let them do
Matt, do
their
you
thing.
have Matt, other thoughts?
There was one other line, and I believe it was discussed, but I just want clarity when folks are looking at it, is when it comes to tech security.
See tech.
I know I jumped right to those pieces.
22.
I love that you do though because I hate tech.
So 2225.5738.
225.
It went up 20,000.
Yeah.
Significantly over what the default budget would be. Just any elaboration on that so folks can understand why that 20,000 is considerably higher.
If you license.
I would say too, we might maybe asking questions that you can't answer.
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely.
I mean, I
Yeah,
asked
we're well
Jen,
aware.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if we can answer them, we will. And then I'm taking
Notes.
notes, and so
Perfect.
as always, we'll come back
Back
with
to
an
it,
answer. But
yes.
if
Yeah.
Christine,
Yeah.
I do not have an answer to that
Yeah.
one, but if Christine does,
So kind of a mix of that. So the tech infrastructure last year we budgeted, or this current year we budgeted a little bit more because we upgraded our AP access points throughout the school district. So we had to increase our budget. So you can see even in the 24-25 budget, it was only $10,000. Where in the 25-26 it was $35,000. So we had all these access points throughout the school district that we were paying a lease on. In order to continue that lease, it was going to cost us a lot more money to replace the access points and then get in a lease agreement throughout the years to continue. So we took a look. We started weighing our options. We have a company we work with, most school districts do, E-rate funding. So we use Epic for our E-rate funding. I was in many conversations with Epic and talked about how we can maybe offset some of this cost through our E-rate funding. So they said that they would fund 50% of the project and reimburse us for 50% of the project. So mind you, the $35,000 that's in there, the actual project that is now done, was done over the summer, was like a $65,000 project. But we only had to budget for half of that. So then you see a reduction in there because now it's keeping up with those things. I just lost my spot of where those was. Sorry. So the Bogan system, the intercom system, EES and EMHS, they would like to upgrade the Bogan system. And then through the AP access, we upgraded all the firewalls, but the SAU firewall wasn't upgraded. It was the one that was kind of like left out of that old programming. So this includes upgrading the SAU firewall as well. So it's dropping, but we do have some more things that we need to do to infrastructure to get it to where we really want it to be. So the intercom system for the Bogan system and the SAU firewalls, but it is a decrease because we don't have to upgrade our AP access anymore.
Thank you.
And you understand all that.
I do.
Good. I'm glad I was able
Firewalls are
to.
important, Robin.
Well, they're
Firewalls
protection, I
are-
understand that, they're protection.
Yeah, and like we said, we did it
Absolutely,
through the whole district, but the SAU down at the bottom of the hill, we sometimes just forget about. So,
I just don't know what a Bogan system
so
is.
we're gonna, the Bogan's the intercom
Easy.
system, so it's how.
Okay,
if
just
you
say
can-
intercom.
Does that,
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, just I have a couple of things, and I was not able to make the Wednesday budget meeting. So if I'm asking something and it has already been addressed, please just say we've already addressed that, and I I don't need to. That's fine. You don't need to rehash something just for my own sake. And so I have two things that I just kind of want to bring up, and maybe you have an answer, and maybe we go back and think about or ask other questions, but. So I'm noticing that we have budgeted for staff development coordinators, and it looks like that would be a stipend. And my question is that a job description for the curriculum coordinators? Is that part of their role or not?
Yep.
And I guess as we are working through defining what people's responsibilities and roles are in, not people's, but certain positions, what are the roles and responsibilities for this position? If it's number one, I just want to say, I believe in paying people what they are worth. I firmly believe that. I believe that we need to offer competitive wages so that we can attract the very best people. Having said that, I think that it should be very clear and transparent what people's responsibilities are. This is the salary for these responsibilities. And if this is a stipend, then it should not be included as a job responsibility. It is something that's above and beyond. It's a stipend. So I just don't know where that falls. And I just think that maybe is worth kind of digging into a little bit.
I actually have the answer to that.
Perfect.
So the
Thank
staff
you.
development coordinators are teacher positions,
Okay.
and those are stipend positions that are driven by the bargaining agreement, and so they're within that group of stipends that are negotiated and talked about. And so they help teachers as they're doing their recertification process. Do you have your reflections? Do you have your hours? Do you have your time, your portfolio, all this? They help send out those reminders. Hey, get them in. It's your recert year. That is a teacher driven position. The curriculum coordinators do play a role. They do not get a stipend in that process, though.
Okay.
They then help review those as the quality of the reflections, the quality of this. They're that first check of quality around that process to help get our teachers recertified. And then it goes even further to our principals and so forth, who then check off and approve it and so forth. And then it eventually comes to me and I approve it and the state approves it. And it goes through that whole recertification process. So teachers get those stipends.
Mhm.
Curriculum coordinators do not get those stipends.
Okay, thank you. My other question was around books, and I just wonder if, like, are we on cycles for replacing textbooks for textbook adoption? I don't know. I just wonder, I'm comparing budget from year to year and then actuals, and I didn't do a total of everything, but what kind of world do we live in with textbooks, and how often are we needing to replace textbooks? Are these actual books, or are they, online, like digital
Reference books.
subscriptions for things, or
Wow. So it's a combination of all those things, and I'll ask for a little help on this. Sometimes we still call it books, and they're not physical books. So sometimes that is the case. It is still curriculum support materials that may be digital in reference books and stuff like that, but they're not books. They're just online. And so that is part of it. The other part is, to answer your question, no. We are still in the works of getting that full cycle done and completed. We did that for our computers many years ago around the lease agreements and so forth, and not just catch as catch can. We came up with a nice system, and we're doing that same thing with our curriculum materials. Whose year is it and what cycle is it? And that's under review at this point. And so we're not quite there yet where I could say, here it is, Jen, here's our cycle, and this year it's high school social studies or whatever. We're not quite there yet, but we are under review of that at this time.
okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And some of it's the consumables, right?
The
Workbooks and
consumables,
things
yeah.
like that
So
that we have to
sometimes,
get
like,
every year.
with like science, when you have science books, it might be a consumable that you're getting for your projects that you need to do. So that is a physical book that you're receiving because they're working on the project, they're doing whatever, versus a reference book that might be something online. I think books have kind of gone away, unfortunately. I loved my old science book in that I could see all the people that signed it out before me. But those unfortunately are going away, and they are more reference books now. But there are times with certain subjects, where it might be chemistry or world language, that you do have to have a physical book in front of you. So that's where that book reference still comes in.
That's all for right now. Yeah, no, thank you.
If you have any like more general ones that you want me to like inquire to like Stephanie, who at the middle high school,
Okay.
that maybe she's the one purchasing the book, she can talk to more of the department lead to find out exactly what the books. Definitely,
Okay.
please email me and I will dig further into that question. For
Okay, thank you.
You.
Are you able to, like if I wanted to, come in to see what fell under that line?
Yeah.
We could see, so like, if it said books, we could actually see what was charged to it.
100%. I can dig back for as long as you want to go.
I mean, I was
We
just
can look
thinking,
at that
yeah.
year book
Yeah,
line
yeah.
year over year, but absolutely.
Ben,
So I started going through the updated spreadsheet that we got earlier today. I haven't finished, so I don't have any very questions for you for tonight. I'm sure I'll be reaching out to you over the next week.
Yeah, and again, just
Of
don't,
course you can.
and as you always do, just don't wait, right? So then we can come prepared for the December 4th meeting.
Yeah, no, I'll be reaching out beforehand so I can get some clarification, but I want to finish going through the whole thing before I ask.
Besides the major lines that we talked about, there were no real changes to the other lines.
Robin, anything? No.
No,
Okay.
not right now.
I'm just gonna. Go ahead. Did someone?
I was just gonna say,
Okay.
I know I sent you the Excel sheet later this afternoon. I'm sorry, Ben. I told Ben last week that I would send it to him in Excel, and then I got wrapped up in life. So
That's okay. That happens.
But-
Same thing happened to me tonight.
I
so-
guess you don't
it just
I-
becomes a
I'm sorry,
whirlwind
I do have
sometimes. But
something.
Yeah.
I
make
guess-
sure you pick through it, and
okay.
you know my door's always open.
Yes.
So.
I will.
I guess I'm getting a little concerned about the substitute line.
That's a
Yes, I brought that up.
Yeah, it's getting pretty large.
Yeah, so I felt like that was a spot that I went into it thinking it might get reduced, it might get cut. It's kind of been at 2015 since I've been here. Those have kind of been the numbers we just moved forward through, but every year I look at that line and go, wow, we are way overexpensed. Did I want to take that full number and put it into one budget year that I knew was going to be maybe a tougher budget year because of where the town was and everything happening in our community? I didn't want to tackle it all at once. So I did take some minor increases to it to get us a little more in line to what the actual numbers are. But is it what we're truly spending? No. It's still not. Like, it would be nice to have more to make it actual. But
So
substitutes
then,
are what
then,
they
it would
are.
then that I would think there's going to be discussion of like, what are we putting in the substitute line? Is it because it's people calling in sick, or is it because we have people going to conference during the day when and they're not teaching? Is
I think it's
you know
a
what I mean? Like
mix. I think.
why do we have such? I know substitute line has been a huge thing, but it's getting large,
Yeah,
very large. So we gotta kind of figure out like what's going on.
I would love to sit here and say it's because long-term subs, maternity leave, but it's not, because I bill substitutes to their substitute line until they hit that long-term sub where they're now classroom assigned.
Yeah.
Once they become classroom assigned, I move them actually to the teacher's salary line because now they're offsetting that cost and they're not a substitute. It's truly personal days, sick days.
Because I just read an article about this on social media about a lot of schools are dealing with the substitute lines are getting like out of control.
Well, we have so it is those as we talked about personal, sick, and any other time for like that. That's about really honestly that's about what we have, what teachers have available to them. However, we also have to remember that our sub pay has continued to grow because of challenges of finding subs. I think it was $85.90 when I first started here, and we're up to $115. So even the daily rate, which again, $115 is not anywhere near out of the norm for districts around us and so forth that we're competing with. But I just want to bring that into to remind you that is part of it. Is that that cost is going. It's not necessarily just more days are being used. It's also the cost of that day is increasing. And then the second compounding thing is we have overexpended that line for several years, and we are trying to bring that into where it should be. And as Christine explained, well, do you do that in one fell swoop, or do you do that over time? And that's where you're seeing us choose to do that over time to try to bring that into line with the actuals.
Yeah. I just wanted to make sure that we're not like, if there's a way that we can not have conferences done during the school day and either before school or before school starts, after school ends. I mean, I don't know. You're teachers, right? So
Yeah, they only offer them.
That's when they offer them.
Yeah, they only offer them.
They don't
all
offer them on the weekends, and if
No
they
one's
do,
gonna
no one's
go.
going.
No one's going.
That's right.
And we're gonna have to pay them to go.
yeah, and like how many can go at one time, and how, you know what I mean? Like how because the article that I read, it wasn't about teachers calling out sick all the time.
I do not
Yeah.
believe that's our
I mean, it
concern in
wasn't-
this
that wasn't
district,
the
by the
norm
way.
of
I think
why.
our teachers are
Right.
very understanding and responsible around, yes, this is important professional development for me. Can I take advantage of that? Yes, of course,
Yeah.
we're going to support that. But do I think there's any abuse of that? No, I do not
No.
think so. I think there's checks and balances in there. I'll pick on Matt. He just was nodding at me. Matt, this is your 5th time going to a conference this month. No, you can't go. No, that doesn't happen. It's just,
Right,
you know.
right. Well, it makes sense though when you say like, because you're right. When you came here, it was like $85, and now it's up to $115. There's districts that are paying $150, $125, $130. So, so that could make it a difference as to that it's rising. But
Is there anything unique about the elementary? Because that seems to be
that's
think,
always been the issue.
um,
It's always been the level that's.
I don't know what's unique about the elementary, but I will say one thing that I have seen to be more of a trait at the elementary is that teachers tend to make afternoon appointments. for whatever reason, like a 2 o'clock appointment, and as they should, they have dentist appointments. Those are super
That's
hard to
all
get
you
all the
get in
time. At
for.
doctors. But you can't have a substitute come in for 2 hours. So
Mhm.
they
Right.
might only need to leave an hour or 2 hours early, but you got to pay a sub for a full day or half day.
Okay.
So,
Yeah, so that
if a
makes a
teacher's
difference,
only
yeah.
leaving an hour early and they need coverage and we're not able to find coverage throughout the school to cover their classroom, we're calling in a sub and we're paying them for a half day, even if it was only an hour. And I think it's more prone, for whatever reason, to happen in the elementary school than it is at the
Where they
middle
get
high
out
school.
later.
I think at the middle high school, they're a shorter day. And because of their structure, I think there's more overlap and able to cover each other's classrooms a little bit easier. Where the elementary school, they're more classroom based, and so it's harder to get that coverage.
Well,
is
plus a lot of
my-
elementary teachers
high level
have
view.
younger children.
Yeah.
If they have to do things they have to do with them.
And they get
so.
sick more often
And
because
they
they're
get sick
dealing
more
with
often,
little.
right, exactly, right,
That's
so,
would be my quick high level
Yeah.
look.
alright, well, that, helps answer my question.
Anything else, Robin?
Mm-mm.
So I do have a few things, but I'll try and, I know there are probably questions that can't be answered, and I did hope to get in to see you, but life happens and didn't happen. So this isn't necessarily a criticism, it's more of just, I'm just curious, and some of these things are very small amounts of money, but I mean, we're here to look at all dollars, so in terms of replacing the Berry sacks, I do believe we just saw that the Berry sacks was repaired. I think we saw that in the manifest, if anybody else saw that. We see it all, so I guess
I was like, oh, Julie's gonna see this.
100%. Totally, here I am,
Well, I
first
think
things.
it was my personal, we might have had something to do with the repairs being needed that I had to also write a check for. So
I guess
that's why I know
so
that it happened.
the line item says we're replacing the Berry sacks, but it sounds like Jen's son might be using a Berry sack. So that's a lot of money. I just want to acknowledge that that's a lot of money, and is it really necessary? It's $10,000. I'm just bringing that to the attention.
I'm sorry, Julie, which line are you?
That's
I
all
don't
right, I got
actually-
the
I
notes.
don't-
I have the
it's-
notes,
I-
yeah.
It's two of them, right? One went under middle school and one went under
Well,
high
it's-
school,
it's-
right?
they-
Or
they-
is
they're
it
taking
all
it out of-
one, but they put it into two lines?
Two different
Gotcha.
lines.
separate
Okay.
lines.
That's what I don't actually have the line items, and I'm
No,
so
it's
sorry,
fine.
but-
I have the Berry sacks note.
Yeah.
yeah.
I know where to look.
So there's another line that says, so we had eliminated essentially the integrated studies class. That was the STEAM / integrated studies, but there's still a line item of $500. But we do not have an integrated studies teacher. I think we could probably zero that out. Same thing with STEAM. It says don't have the line items. Replace equipment STEAM, $500. We do not have a STEAM program. We probably can zero that out. I would guess, maybe not. There's a few lines that just they're not really well defined, and so for example it says replace equipment high $3,000. What are we anticipating we need to replace?
What was the dollar amount, please?
$3,000.
Got it, thank you.
Replace equipment high. So again, future it would be helpful, like what are we replacing? Are we replacing, I'm not saying we don't need to, I'm just saying it'd be helpful for us.
We'll come back
what
with
is it?
answers for that
Right.
one.
Workbooks, middle special ed, 1,100. I mean, I guess that's probably consumable. I'm just noting that. Same thing. Replace equipment, middle, 550. Not a lot of money, but what are we replacing? I mean, that's a specific designation. There was an increase in the ESOL salary for 26-27. I'm assuming that we are anticipating more students. I guess I'm just wondering if that's accurate.
It is accurate.
That
We have a
we-
different person in that position this year.
Okay, and so, but if there's an increase, I don't have the exact increase, but there's an increase. There's a significant increase from this year to next year. So I'm
So we're
assuming.
budgeting for, as we always do, we budget for what, so last year we budgeted for the person who we thought might be in that position.
Okay.
They're no longer in that position. So
Okay.
that's where this year this person is getting paid their salary, and
Okay.
now we adjust the budget for next year to
Okay.
be that accurate.
Well,
salary.
sometimes ESOL is student dependent. We might have 2 students. We might have 10 students. That depends on if
Yeah,
we need a
we have
full-time.
one full-time ESOL
Okay.
teacher still at this time based on our current demands. And also in the Fremont agreement, we have agreed that we would keep the one
Okay.
full-time as well.
Okay,
And if we have larger demands, then that cost would be
Sure.
shared and so forth.
gotcha. That makes sense. Okay. So assembly programs high and assembly programs middle. Assembly programs high was 3,500 and middle was 1,000. I don't have a specific problem with the money, but there was no money used in 24 and 25. So I'm just questioning why we need to put $4,500 in when I'm just looking at the 24-25 budget. We did not use any of it.
Is that in the 2400s?
I'm sorry.
Again,
It's,
we'll
it's,
look
it's
it up.
all in back. I'm just trying
Keep
to
going,
like
Julie. I
target.
got
I know
you.
you're taking
And
it.
we'll
Julie
meet
will figure it
with,
out.
with
Julie,
the
you said assembly programs high and then assembly programs what?
Middle.
So what was
one's
it?
3,500 and
And
one's
one's
1,000.
1,000. Again,
Okay.
I'm not questioning that.
No, but
we
I
need-
would like to know what those, I would like those programs
and
identified so I know what
I'm
we're
sure they're
talking
bringing
about.
people in, but if we're not using it, then we're not using it, but we're just keep putting money in there. So
Yeah.
Maybe we're using it this year. Great. So I think this is related to athletics, but there was an increase in max weight performance. I think I would like to have a little more information about what max weight performance is doing and who is it serving. Is it serving a small population? Is it serving our football program? Is it serving all athletics? Is it serving? I don't really know what it's
Max weight.
max weight
program.
performance,
Performance
and it's
software.
$5,500.
Yeah. If it
Again,
is.
I'm just bringing these.
No,
These
but
are all
it,
good questions.
Yeah.
Julie.
no, but if it is strictly saying a football program, then we need to see what.
Yeah, well then we
Our other
need to tie
football
that
team,
into
yeah.
football because we have these costs that are associated with football.
And it's two schools.
So this has come up a couple times about uniforms and how we replace the site. We have a cycle to replace uniforms, which would be middle high school. But we have $0 in middle school, but 5,000 in high school, and it would seem there's a fair amount of middle school teams and a fair amount of high school teams. Like I don't want to be not replacing middle school. There's at least 5 or 6 teams, or I don't know. I'm just curious if there's a plan. Like we know this 5,000 is going to this sport, and it's a high school sport. I just don't want to miss the teams.
I'll get an answer for you.
So you don't think it could just be like because it's EMHS now?
No, because they
That
break
would
things
be-
up middle school, high school.
They do.
They do.
Unfortunately, many times our middle school students sometimes get the hand-me-downs.
True.
And so oftentimes we do
Okay, and that's-
replace, and I don't have the
Yeah,
answer. I'm
no,
just,
that's fine.
Just
yeah.
talking about
Sure,
experience.
it could be.
Where we replace the
Yeah, but
high
they should be in
school
a cycle,
baseball.
too.
I don't
Yeah, no,
know.
I-
and then the middle school baseball gets
Right.
the old uniforms is what often happens.
Okay, if that's helpful.
Maybe.
Unless they're dirty.
Yeah,
We're
right.
always dirty, but we
So-
get washed.
This is another one that I guess I'm looking for clarification. It says athletic new equipment, middle school and high school, athletic replace equipment, middle school and high school. I don't doubt we need it. It's $32,710. It's 2 separate lines, new equipment and replace equipment. I think it would be helpful for the taxpayers to know what are we replacing?
Uh-huh.
Where is that money
Yeah.
going? I'm sure
Yep.
we need it. but it says curriculum summer. Maybe you just asked this, but it's $10,500. I guess I'm wondering who we're paying curriculum summer.
That's teachers get approval. They work. They put in summer assignments that go above and beyond, whether that's a new course or some other curriculum development, and so they have to apply for it, and then we take all the proposals, and then that's when we divvy up the money for that summer work of our curriculum work
Great.
for the teachers.
Yep. So it's going to
It's
teachers
going to
to
teachers.
do professional development around either courses, their own course, new
During the
courses,
summer,
something that
that's
they're
not
Gotcha.
normally regulated through the CBA.
This next one I feel bad about, but the bookmobile. The bookmobile did not run last year. We have a fantastic library that we did just the taxpayers paid for an addition. It's $7,000 for the salary. It's $1,200 for supplies. That's $8,200 that I'm not sure is necessary, and I think it's something to consider perhaps removing from. Although I love the bookmobile, I do think that our town's
So I
is
would
pretty
like
accessible.
to definitely come back, and by December
Yeah.
4th we'll come back. But I would like to work with our as you know, that was a passion of
Yeah.
a previous employee who got that started, and we're all very thankful.
And it came from COVID. It
and
had started during
and it
COVID.
came, and then it was inherited by the next media specialist who also loved it and continued to do that, and she has since moved on.
Right.
I would like to work with our current people and just ask them is there adaptation? Is there something smaller? Is there something else, or nothing at all? And so let me
Right.
come back next time
Yeah, or like,
with
yeah,
some
if they
sort
want
of,
to do
because
some
I have
sort
to
of,
say every summer I have done one day
Yeah.
with them, and it is very special.
Yeah.
I have to say it was
and
very.
is there
very-
something they could do at the school? I like the whole, like, it's reading and,
Mhm.
you know, but does it have to cost $8,200?
Yeah, it's gone up.
Yeah,
It's
but
gone up a
I
lot. Yeah.
I mean, and in my heart, I like it, but
Yeah.
in my head, I don't. So there were multiple lines I added up, but the media center costs, and I'm not sure why, but for the middle high school, there was a lot of media center costs that came to $22,400. I'm not saying that's not needed, but it's just a lot. It's a lot of money. But the media center costs for the elementary were $75.50. So that's just a big difference in. We're serving half of our students here at the elementary school. We're serving half of our students at the middle high school. That's just a lot of.
I don't know
It's
all
just a
the
big
lines you
difference.
added up, but we will
It
look
is-
into
it
that.
says
But I
like-
will say some of them is there's certain reference materials that are just purchased online and so
Yeah.
forth. And my initial guess would be that high school, middle school subscribes to many more of those than the elementary school. But let me look at
Yeah.
what lines you have, and
Yeah.
then we can get a more definitive
It's
answer
like
for
all
you.
in the. I went from this
These,
first
the
one
20
that you.
But is
gave
that
me.
is that
the
a, is that
2222s.
is that a EMHS, or is that she said middle school?
The middle school, she
Middle-
said there's a
middle high school.
22,400,
Okay, so it is
and
EM, okay,
EES
that makes a
is a
difference.
much lower.
It's not
Yeah.
one
70.
line. It's like it'll say media center supplies, media
We
center.
we have
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
One of the big ones that jumped out in there was the furniture line.
The furniture.
That wasn't anything spent, but still budgeted. When you look at comparing 24, 25 actuals to the budget ones, those are the ones that jump up for that dollar amount quite a bit.
What's the
Thank you.
Because I think we held off furniture
So-
1 year.
Yeah, and if it's
Yeah.
that's
What was
if
the
we need
furniture?
again, I'm not saying we don't need it. It just would be helpful.
You want some explanation?
Some
Sorry.
explanations
Yeah,
as to
Oh,
why.
Excel,
Yeah.
sorry.
This one relates to us. So school board other expenses, $7,500. That was 3,500 increase from actuals. I don't know. I was just
Legal?
curious.
Legal?
No, we have a separate line for legal. So my guess is that is either the retreat or I don't know. We'd have to look
We're
at
costing
what-
you more money.
what was what
Yeah.
came out
We're
of.
worth it.
out
We
of
learned
that
good
line.
things from it.
Trying to figure out which ones it's are.
Can you say that number again, Julie?
Yeah.
It was the school. It said school
School
board
board
expenses was
expenses.
$7,500,
Thank
but it was a 3,500 increase from the actuals.
Oh,
from
so the
24.
only $3,500 expense, and it unfortunately does fall under you, but it's really not. It's
This
the
is not-
auditor.
Okay.
Okay.
The auditors have increased their cost. I mean,
Okay.
they do every year, so they have gone up by $3,500. So,
Okay, so there you go.
it's a school board expense,
Yeah, okay.
but
Yeah.
it's really not. I mean, it's
A district.
a district
expense.
expense that
Yeah.
just falls on the school board
Yeah.
lines.
Because it's our budget.
I think some of the other might come
Gotcha.
out, be like when we've had negotiations and it, like bringing in food and water for negotiation
it could be,
sessions and
yeah.
things
Yeah,
like that.
sometimes like those might go a little bit. Even this year, we're gonna have a little bit of an increase than we normally do because we have decided to have the school board meetings here.
Mhm.
We do want to make sure we pay our
Yeah.
our technology crew for being here.
Yeah.
So that's
Yeah.
something
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
that
yeah, that
you
would-
know
yeah, for
might
sure.
increase in our other expenses line, but.
Is that the line that we pay for public notices out of as well?
I haven't really decided exactly where I'm going to pay that out of. To be quite honest, I'm like, we don't have a salary line in school board expenses other than school board salaries.
But that's not their
But I
salaries.
think it's going to be school board other expenses, which is the 1023 10 5890, which we budget $7,500 in there. Last year we spent $4,000 under it. Out of it, so we still had $3,000 left in it. So my guess is we still have 7,500, but from history that I've seen, we haven't really overexpensed that line. So I think we can still budget comfortably without increasing that line and support the technology needs for our school board lines.
Mhm.
So that's where I'm thinking it's going to come from. But I don't feel the need to increase the line.
So the next one, and I actually do have because it was on page 36, but it was related to the telephone, the cost of, because we do provide stipends for people that have telephones, but it doesn't seem to add up accurately. So I'm on line 10.2400.5531.10. So it says telephone elementary principals and sub coordinator. So that's 3, right? That's 1,800. but we're budgeting 1,700. So that's where I'm like, that doesn't really make a lot of sense. But then the next line, right below that, telephone middle, principals and sub coordinator and AP. So that's 1, 2, 3. That's 1,800. And then I can see that that's probably split principals.
Yeah.
So we have essentially, based on these numbers, we have we budgeted $3,500, but we have a principal, 2 APs, a sub coordinator. Oh no, middle high. I'm sorry. So it's middle high principal, right? Principal, 2 APs, and a sub coordinator. That's 4 people.
What about Stephanie?
So well,
Stephanie
I'm just
does
saying
not
this is
get
what
a
it
phone?
says. This is what it says. So if it says, so I guess I think I'm only looking at the middle high then.
Yeah.
It says principal, 2 APs and a sub coordinator. That's 4 people at $600 per person. That should be $2,400.
Yeah,
and we
but
have
the
30.
sub coordinator doesn't get 600. The sub coordinator gets 500.
Okay. But it seems like we've over budgeted. We've budgeted 3,500. So I guess I if we're paying more for more cell phones, we should be identifying who that is. According to our budget lines, it looks like it's only 4 people. 4 times 600 would be, or perhaps less. So I'm just asking you to look into
Okay.
it, and if there are more people, then let's identify that there are more people.
Yeah, I think there are.
So, and if people are getting paid less, or reimbursed, so that was it. Accreditation. So I know we went through NEASC last year. I know we had a large expense because we had the whole committee come in, and it was like 25,000 because we had to house them and feed them. Are they coming back, and are we housing and feeding them again? Because
So they do come back, but I don't know to what extent. That is just the first phase of the project,
right.
and there's actually still a second phase of this project to come up next year.
So I guess I would ask us to look into that, because that's a lot of money, and it's really like, I know it's important, and obviously being NEASC certified is very important. It's also, because I remember asking about this last year, and it was because we were having people come in from out of town. But if we're not having people, it may only be a $10,000 expense, or whatever it is. There was a line, and I'm sure Josh can use it. It says snow removal structure for Salt Bay and push box. I guess I'm wondering if we're taking a different direction with the loader. Are these things still needed?
So the salt bay is
Okay.
because it was just too cumbersome and too much of a demand of before storms going
Sure.
down and just
Yeah.
preparing before. So we will be storing salt provided by the town in our own salt
Yep.
bay area. So we are still going forward with that. The question around how big of a area did we need to store a piece of equipment and
Yeah.
stuff, we'll talk about a little bit later this evening.
So
actually.
do we need a push
Yeah,
box, or is that something that's
No,
going to
so
be?
the push box
No.
would actually be included in the loader,
The
so
loader,
that can
yeah.
actually come out as well.
Yeah.
So
We didn't want to push box. Yeah.
This was just really related to clarification. So grounds maintenance, it was around 47,370, but there was a line that said savings, 4482 white paint, 4850 goal posts. I'm guessing those are cost savings from last year. Is the paint savings from the turf tank?
the paint is for the
I just
charge
wanted
tank, yeah.
clarification.
And then the goalpost
And the
was
goalpost.
the one-time expense. So
because we
yes.
okay.
That's taken care of. It's
Yeah.
done. Yep.
I'm also wondering because the turf tank was 8370. I don't know if that should be, because that's an increase, like that's something new. I don't know if that would go on this sheet as, like you said, increased annuity. I don't
So that increase is just from
Right.
Oh,
from the initial
okay.
Budget.
giving of
Gotcha,
the budget.
gotcha.
Right.
And from the changes from the time we gave it to them to the time we gave it to you,
Right.
here's the changes.
Couple more things and I'm
No,
almost
this
done.
is great.
I'm almost done.
So yeah,
A maintenance of building, 104,000. So, and I don't know if I missed this in the presentations, but it says O'Day Gym 30,000, EMHS CAF floor 45,000, EMHS main office floor. So, are we redoing all of those floors?
so the answer is yes.
Okay.
We may have some change in that we have thought about doing EES cafeteria gymatorium before the O'Day one, but we are budgeting for those
So those are like
floors to be
new,
redone.
refinished.
Refinished.
'Cause we just
Correct.
did the middle school gym.
Correct.
Correct.
Okay.
And so there is different levels of refinishing
Yeah,
too, by the
that's what
way.
I wanna
So
know.
like the O'Day gym, I don't want to. That is just sanding and refinishing and more poly on it and make it
Staining, yeah.
make it
Yeah.
beautiful. Whereas the cafeteria, we have tiles that are breaking and need to be
Sure.
removed, and that is a different process,
Yeah.
obviously, and a different expense.
I
And
just
even EES.
What
like,
about
if we
EES?
replace the cafe gymatorium over here, we
Yeah.
obviously don't want to put down that same flooring. So what are the options
Yeah.
that are going to stand up to both the needs of the cafeteria to be durable to food and everything
and
else,
also
but
running
also
and- yeah.
provide
Mhm.
some support to our
Yeah.
athletes
Mhm,
that are in there doing gym. So we've looked at a few different options of maybe like a foam type flooring.
Mhm.
So we're still reviewing those options, but
flooring.
from what we
Mhm.
have looked at,
They've
this
been
is
part of
about
our
where we
plan
look
for a
like,
while.
so.
Yeah,
So
no, I'm no
we're
doubting.
gonna look at replacing that floor in
Yeah,
there.
That
so
one
it
is
wouldn't
looking
be
at
a
being
like,
re-
that would be
replaced.
a
Yeah,
replace.
perfect.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
a
Yeah, I would
dangerous
support
floor in
that.
there. Yeah.
I just didn't remember, and I definitely might have missed it, but I didn't remember that in part of our conversation, so I just wanted to get clarification on that. Repair of grounds was 10,000. It says seal coating EES. Didn't we just pave it?
We did, but
We have to
you
seal
know, you
coat it
got to
already?
keep up with it, because if you don't keep up with
Well,
it, then you're
it
going
was
to be
actually
repaving
closer
it
to 4
again
years ago that
in
we did
7
it, yeah.
years.
Yeah,
Yeah,
2 years,
so
Okay.
you
now
know,
we wanna
just like
maintain it.
everything else with the capital improvement plan, you look for ways how do we keep up with the
Yes.
maintenance of the investments that we've done. So by seal coating those, we can prevent some additional cracking and things happening.
It
and not
extends the life,
spreading and
Yes.
which actually ends up saving us money in the long run if it's maintained.
And we can reline it with the turf tank.
Correct.
But you can see all the parking lots around town that they don't
No, it's
they
all
don't
smart.
keep up, and they have these big potholes and cracks and all that stuff.
And
You
then
gotta
you're
keep up with
ripping
that.
it
Yeah.
all back up and replacing it all, which
Yeah.
we've seen is pretty expensive sooner. So
So the last thing was, I actually have the line item 10.2900.5113.00, and it says healthy incentives teachers.
Yeah, I saw that
We
too.
budgeted in 24-25 20,460. We spent zero,
Yeah.
and we are now budgeting 20,460.
Why are we giving healthy incentives to teachers?
Well, I don't know what it is, and I don't
Yeah.
know why we're putting 20,000.
I
if we
think that would
spent
come
zero.
with the insurance company does that.
So the healthy incentive is their sick day buyback. Why there's zero, I don't really know
So-
that question. But so what the healthy incentive is basically if teachers don't use all their sick days, then they can buy them back at a cost.
Only
How's
when
that
they
a healthy
only when they
incentive?
leave or
when they
retire.
leave. and-
Oh, I
yeah.
get it.
Did we not
So-
have anybody retire?
There was no one, I guess, that opted for that
So-
benefit,
But here's the thing: we know who has submitted their retirement requests. I think we can calculate
Budgeted.
that a little bit better
Mhm.
if they choose not to retire. But if we should be able to look at our teachers, how many days they have, and how many they potentially could buy back, and that. So, I think we could probably tighten that up a little bit. Is my guess.
Yeah.
But that's helpful. Thank you.
Yep.
And that is all.
Julie, you did amazing. That is
Mhm.
awesome.
Yeah, great job. Nice
Everyone
homework.
did. Thank you.
Yeah, no, I liked
mean,
it.
Everyone did.
I'm not. It sounds critical. I want to better understand it. I'm not saying we don't need it. And I actually, I like the budget. I like that we have found some money in other places. We're being very thoughtful about it. So I'm not like saying, oh my God, this budget's too big by 300,000. But I'm really more
You want
looking
some
at it
answers?
like I think that justification, rationale,
We will
rationale.
get them for you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
well, it's hard to explain to people if you don't understand it yourself.
Yeah.
Yep.
So.
So we will get those answers, and I will email them out as soon as we have them,
Sure.
and then we can obviously present them publicly on the December 4th as well. Looking at the timeline, the December 4th meeting, we will have any further questions, and of course get us whatever you have. If on the December 4th you're okay with the budget, we then can forward it all. We also have to do warrant articles, so that's the other part that would be on the December 4th meeting.
Wait a minute.
Finalizing any warrant articles that we need to do. And then on Wednesday, December 10th, is when we have to have those warrant articles to the Budget Committee for their first review of those warrant articles. And then Thursday, December 18th, is the final review. That is our meeting, that is our meeting, where you take the final vote on the budget at that time.
And I know
That's
one-
here.
That's here, yes.
Okay.
So one other piece that the budget committee has asked for, and it just came in on Tuesday, is the revenue side of it. So I was waiting to get the adequacy 8 estimates from the state. So this did come in on Tuesday, but I was trying to navigate these things. So look for those revenues. I will be putting them out there soon, so that way you can see.
Why
those
don't we
revenue
give them
numbers as
to,
well.
obviously, our board and the
Yeah.
budget committee, and then let's put that on our budget presentation for the 4th as well.
Yeah.
The revenue side.
Great.
All right. Anything else on the budget?
Just an overall comment, when you look at the detail of 600 lines of data, and more than 3/4 of them were flat or down, right, compared to what it was prior, it is quite a miraculous task at hand to try to keep it within a reasonable dollar amount heading into the new year. So
Yeah.
it's, and the ones that were increased were a lot of those contractual increases, looking at it. Not saying there's always room to keep trimming and looking for more, but it was impressive to look at the overall numbers.
I just have to say, overall, as a team, I think from the start with a direction from you, and then we bring it to our team, and yes, we kept them level where we could. But the whole process has been gone very smoothly, I think, both with your feedback, with the budget committee's feedback, and then thankfully to Christine's expertise and others who can navigate these things and go through it. And I have to say, the level of our knowledge is really, really good. Like, and I don't mean just us, you guys. Look at what Julie just gave us. Like, she takes this very seriously, as you all do, and that means we're doing what we need to do. And not only did we meet the budget committee's recommendation of the 288, we're well below that, right? And we didn't try to keep things in there. Say, hey, here's your 288, and then I come here and Julie's making us take out even more. No,
I gotta make some.
we're already there. We're already there. We're
That's not what it's about.
I'm
though.
teasing,
I know.
I'm teasing.
No, I know.
You
It's
know.
not. Let's not be wasteful.
Presenting the
That's
Correct.
task and
Yeah,
Yeah, I
stuff.
mean, if
yeah.
we haven't used it, why are we putting it back in if
Correct.
we haven't used it, right? So
I
let's take it
100%
out,
agree.
let's look.
Yeah.
And I did look at the whole. I mean, I did look at the whole budget. But
No, you did a great job, and you did it last year, and I appreciated our conversations and our back
Yeah.
and forth. So
Yeah.
I was waiting for it.
Okay, great, awesome. So next on our agenda is committee reports.
No, I have one on
Okay.
the superintendent's report.
Okay,
Can we,
so
can
we're-
we go
are
to
we-
that and then policy, or where did you want to go?
Well, do we need to check in with all of our committees? Because remember we had.
Oh,
we
it does
had a
say committee
sec-
reports
I'm
before.
sorry,
Please
I'm
go
not
ahead.
right.
No,
Wait,
you
wait,
are right.
you're
I
right.
don't,
Okay.
you are
This-
right.
This is
Well,
You
we'll
were
be
right,
doing
not me.
policies
I
and that's
jumped.
one
yes,
committee.
yes,
You got
okay. So committee reports. So I don't have the list. I can't find it in here either.
I was
Well,
trying to-
The list of
SST.
committees.
SST,
is it?
budget committee,
That's not.
Budget committees.
Oh,
policy.
So Julie and I can
Okay.
speak briefly to SST.
Yeah,
we
SST,
had our
budget.
meeting.
Yeah.
They are finalizing their budget and so
Mhm.
forth, and obviously you've heard about the electrical addition at this point. As always, there's a student presentation that does an
Mhm.
awesome job. They're always just phenomenal to listen to their individual stories. The big things are calendar. I will start bringing the calendar to you soon, because Exeter gave us their draft calendar, and that helps drive us. And as you know, we have to be within less than 10 differences between all sending communities after certain dates. So I don't know. Is there anything I'm missing now of our last
I
meeting?
have to bring up that it's funny because they do kind of rib on Epping.
Oh
about
no!
the
Terry
calendars.
does.
Yes, Terry does. Terry from Raymond. about Epping's days and how many PD days, and I'm just sitting there and I'm like, thank you so much.
Exeter's getting up there.
Well, yes,
And we
yes,
don't really
I
care
agree.
what
I
Exeter
know, I
does.
agree. I mean, as a teacher, I just do
I
not
that.
love.
I have to
like,
say that to her all the time.
I don't
really
want.
care what
I don't
Exeter
want
does.
as a teacher. I don't want 10 PD days. So, anyway, no, the meetings are great. They yeah, we talked about the electrical and the students, and so it's really.
I think it's great
really
that they're
exciting.
offering more programs like that.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah, just to put in a word though, Exeter's budget has to pass.
Yeah.
And then therefore, obviously, other budgets have to pass too, and so there is some complication around if one of the sending communities doesn't pass, how do we
Mhm.
come up with that? So
Yeah.
we're just hopeful that all
Yeah.
budgets pass,
Yeah.
and that we go forward with the electrical program. I have to say, Pam Carr, the principal of SST, has come up with a great plan on how to enroll students into a new program. They will be holding back some announcements for students a little bit later this year, because we have to wait till after the budget's passed to know if electrical has passed and give every student their first choice or their second choice. So there will be some minor adjustments to accommodate the new electrical program, but I think the plan looks really solid, and
Yeah.
our students will still get notifications maybe a week or two later
They
than
said, yeah,
typical.
March
Yeah.
13th,
Yeah.
which would be after
Yeah.
the vote. So, yeah, that was great.
There was a wellness, wasn't it?
Yeah,
Wasn't
was
there?
it,
There was
so
a
yeah,
wellness.
so it's probably not a budget update since we
Well, I don't know. Matt might have
Matt,
something.
is there a budget
I think we
update?
covered budget really well.
And then I know we're going to talk about policy wellness.
I don't know. I didn't go to it.
So
I mean,
for
I
the-
just.
Ben was.
Oh,
there.
Ben.
Oh, Ben's
Yeah,
there.
I
Okay,
was-
yeah.
yeah.
I
So
can't do
for
wellness.
the wellness meeting, we met. Let's see, it was a couple weeks ago now. Trying to get everything spun up for the year. We talked through a couple of challenges from last year, like low attendance and interest in some of the programs. So we batted around the ideas around like the Cooking Matters events and some of those community-driven things. And the suggestion went out of like maybe some of that came a little too late in the year, where it wasn't. More people were kind of focusing on the end of the year than coming in for some of that.
Mhm.
And with everything going on, some suggestions were raised on maybe try and offer that, near the end of November or early December. So if possible, I don't know that it's going to come together in time for Thanksgiving, to try and help give anybody some helpful suggestions or some guidance on how to put together a Thanksgiving meal or anything like that. But somewhere in between the holidays potentially was an idea to maybe help people out with some ideas on how to stretch their dollar at the store with their food items. And another thought was also to try and incorporate some things around that with when we're doing like the music in our schools, the UA showcase. So we're gonna have a lot of people here and in for that, so that might be something else where just by the nature of the event, there'll be more families here. So maybe if something started a little bit earlier, you could have both. So that went around. There were some discussions about some of the potential activities to use some of the funds that we get from Health Trust for. Yeah, and the yoga has seemed to be pretty popular, so there was some continued discussion about that. We'll be having some more discussions, I'm sure, at the next meeting, which is going to be in a couple of months. We also discussed how to make better use of the greenhouse and some of the planters around the district. Moss had mentioned that unfortunately through some of the high winds that we had, there was some damage to the greenhouse, and so he is working on trying to get that fixed in whatever way possible to get that back up and running. And we also discussed potentially getting someone from the community to maybe come in and help with a community-driven education event on doing some planting and things like that. So I'm going to try and reach out to the Epping Garden Club and see if there's anybody there that might want to work with Moss on coming up with some kind of an educational program that might make additional use of the planters of the greenhouse. So that pretty much covers in a broad stroke what we went over for the wellness committee meeting. And like I said, we'll meet again in a few more months.
I think they could reach out to SST, Agricultural Department. We have a lot of kids that go to SST Agricultural, right? So that would be a good thing to bring our students in to help with, and even Exeter students, whoever's going. I mean, it would be a great project for the Agricultural Department to do. So just another, I mean, we have the Epping, whatever, you have the UNH agricultural, there's, I mean, I talked to Bill too, there's so many free state programs out there that we could get involved in or that could come in and that could help things. And I also think if, wintertime, February to March, is a great time to have these little events if we're doing it, because people are bored out of their mind in the wintertime. I mean, they're sick of being stuck indoors, to come out and do like a healthy event or something like that. I think between end of January to early March, I think it's perfect time to do something like that.
Yeah, I think the only challenge with that, which isn't something that can't be overcome, is with the vacation schedule the way it is,
Yeah.
you kind of, it may be tough to squeeze things in around everything else going on, but certainly not a bad idea for a time frame.
Yeah, well, you got February, you got March, you know.
March is
But yeah, it's only 1 week we're talking about out of 2 months.
So that was it for wellness, and,
Awesome.
and since I'm going, we haven't had a joint loss committee meeting yet. That's going to be in 2 more
December
weeks.
4th.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
2 more weeks we'll have that that first meeting for the year. So.
All right.
Am I your backup for wellness?
For
Uh,
wellness, yes,
I can't
Yes.
remember.
Yes.
and also
Okay.
for the joint loss.
And for the joint loss?
You got it
Oh,
all.
okay.
You're back.
Matt, anything with
Okay.
emergency management?
Yes, we met in middle October. It was a good meeting, good first meeting to kick things off. A lot of things discussed, try to give a
Mhm.
quick summary
Mhm.
of it. First, the radio audit,
Yeah.
that's a question that came up, is if we received a bid yet for the repeaters.
So
We met with them this week.
Good, because I had
multi-
feedback too.
kind of a multi-level discussion that's been happening. So as you know, we decided to use impact fees to get this testing done to determine where it is that we are not receiving proper signals. So the testing went out back and forth with a bunch of email sends. The discussion was that the elementary school was failing signal, but the EMHS had good signal except for like one classroom. So then through that testing, they discovered that there is some interference with the
Intercom.
Intercoms.
intercom system at EMHS. Well, that actually wasn't what I was thinking, but that's okay. For the one that was failing over there was some interference in the intercom system
Well, then there's
that they needed to rule out
geographical
to figure
interference?
out. So then there was a geographical for here at EES.
meaning the line of sight to Brentwood. Sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
You
Go
can
ahead.
talk.
Go
I'm
ahead.
not gonna-
We work too closely together.
Yes, the line of sight to Brentwood to the.
It's a channel problem.
The,
It's a channel
now
problem.
he made me lose my train
I'm not talking.
because he started. But there was an interference from Brentwood from the receiving
Yeah,
signals.
it's a channel problem.
Because of our geographical connection, EMHS actually sets up a little bit higher and has a more direct signal strength, where this one doesn't. So we talked about what does that mean? What do we have to do? So they did come back in on
Just
Tuesday?
yesterday, yeah.
Yesterday?
Yeah.
Yeah, Wednesday. So it was like a 10 o'clock call that we had with them, and they were like, "We're gonna have a guy come over. Can you get us in?" So at 10:30, they showed up. They walked the hallways. They pushed out signals throughout, and there was not any really interference. So for
So
some
they're coming
reason,
back for
it seems as if some of those things had disappeared throughout the 2 testing areas. So with that said, over the summer when we had it, there was no one in the buildings. There was projects going on. There was other things going on that might have interfered with that. So what they want to do is come back for one more testing phase. But they want to do it while kids are in session and actually get into the classrooms. So test the classrooms versus just the hallways like they did, and have the SRO officer go with them. So that way he can test his signal strength with an additional receiver to see what's going on. So they want to do one more round of testing, I guess is the long.
And how long
bit
is
of
that
the
going to
story.
take?
It doesn't take a whole lot of time.
Well,
when
we've
they
been
were
waiting
here.
a year.
They
That
understand our
part it,
disappointment.
But yes,
Yeah.
they have had quite a few earfuls from someone.
Yeah.
That saying how disappointed I am
Yeah,
with the
it's
time that it's
unacceptable.
like, and the miscommunication of what the problems are. They're like, oh, EMHS is failing, but then I look at the test results and EMHS was all in the green. So I'm like, it looks like ES failed to me. I mean, I'm not a genius, but I
Right.
can read red and green.
Soon, Robin.
So
Well, I had a discussion with Jake.
been-
Yeah,
yeah,
it's like,
so
give me an answer.
there was a
I want an
lot
answer.
of miscommunication, a lot of questions, and so I think the phone call yesterday was very productive. I think we ironed out a lot of that, what was happening. But we still don't have the true accurate data. So what they're asking is for one more testing. Come in, school's in session, get into the classrooms. It's gonna be a little bit of disruption, so I want to make sure I align with the principals of what the best time that's gonna be. And then we will have them come back in, do that last piece of testing, pull in the data. And then from there, they recommended, and Bill wrote it down, so then now pull on you, of the equipment they were recommending that if it is a signal.
If it ends up being it, so I hate to disclose it so much, but it is a repeater. They just did one at Brentwood, Swayze Elementary School. It's around anywhere between $50,000 and $70,000, depending on different things, and so it's reasonable if that is what it is. However, unfortunately, no one was confident with their test results, so that's why they're coming back for another time to confirm whether that's what's needed.
So are they going to be comparing and contrasting all three of their test sessions? 'Cause the first thing that popped in my mind is during the summer there's foliage and there's not anymore. So
Well, plus we're gonna do real-time testing, which I don't, logically, why didn't this happen in the beginning, right? You put the SRO in the classroom, you run the signal, you see if they hear it outside. That's it. It's plain and simple.
But I think we were thinking, I mean, I don't know. It was kind of like, let's get this off the ground because we've been talking about this.
Well,
for-
that's what I
since
said to
I've
Jake,
been
and
in
Jake's
this
like,
district
well, we
for
still don't
5
have any
years,
answer,
we've
and
been
it's like,
talking
well,
about
this
it.
is unacceptable.
I think
we need to get
we
it done.
Took their time and was like, all right, summer, that sounds great. No one's going to be around. Come
Yep.
on in and do
Yep.
it. But now, logically thinking about it, you're correct. When an incident is going to probably happen is when students are in there, the Wi-Fi is going, people
That's
are
when
on
you're gonna know when
computers,
you can communicate.
people have their phone. Well, kids don't have them anymore, but like, there's going to be more interference happening.
And you know what?
So I think
That might help the
is
situation too.
the
You're not gonna
difference.
have a lot of
Yeah.
interference with students with their phones and all that either. So let's.
We'll
see
give
if
you an
that-
update, Matt.
Yeah.
So that's the next line to do so.
Well, I'll tell you, I'm. This is not going to happen again by the end of this year. No, we're no, Bill. It's not going to
We might
happen.
get one more
We're
testing.
probably looking at January or
Nah.
more. It's not going to happen
I'm
by
pretty
the
persistent. I think we'll get
end. I
it.
know you're persistent, honey, but it's going to be them that decides to move it.
I think they got the point.
Yeah. Well,
Okay.
I think we might see it in December.
and if it does come down to 70,000 or 75,000, it's about student
Oh,
safety.
we have no problem.
100.
Yeah.
That it's not even discussion
With
in my
impact
eyes.
fees and everything else.
It's student safety, and it shouldn't take this long. You know.
The most important thing is making sure it's the right solution to fix the problem.
Right.
And no different from whether you're talking Wi-Fi in a building. I mean, it's not uncharacteristic or uncommon to have to do it
Couple
multiple
times.
times and come back and keep rechecking it. 'Cause
But
Different
thank God we
situations.
brought it forward, because this has been a multi-year issue that hasn't been addressed. So we need to get it addressed.
Yeah.
That's my big thing.
And we're doing it.
completely agree.
All right.
with
100%.
We're on.
Uh,
I don't want to play games anymore.
Let's get a few more
So a
things.
few other updates around that. Talked a lot about some additional repairs, things that needed to happen, you know, some doors, things of that nature. We talked a little bit about doors that were easy to be propped open and how do we identify those doors. So looking at possible solutions of alarms, things of that nature to focus on. I did talk a little bit in terms of the statewide protocol. The fire department, of course, and police were represented there about protocol for active shooter, funds available to go through some of those practices. A lot of that tied into the repeaters and
Well,
what's
yeah,
needed
it's a
for
very
it.
important
So,
point. Yeah.
you know, and then a big thing that was talked about from the police side is making sure that we're marking the outside of the school appropriately
Right.
for mutual aid response.
Yeah,
So
we
making
talked about
sure
that.
no matter which department comes here, it is understandable that you don't need to rely on somebody that was physically in the buildings to know or be available necessarily, but to have everything mapped out. So to make sure we have that fully in place.
Yeah, because we did get a lot of new windows.
So they are
Right.
labeled,
Yeah.
and,
The
we
new
do.
ones. The
Yeah.
new are the new ones labeled?
The new ones are
Okay,
labeled.
good.
Yeah.
I was just thinking there was a lot. more
And it's
places.
important if we're going to label them, that's wonderful, but we need to make sure the people that are going to
Josh
be
did
coming
Yeah.
have that,
Yeah.
you know?
Thank you.
So a lot about the logic of the numbering systems and all that,
Mhm.
making sure it can be
Mhm.
identifiable.
Yeah, I was just going to ask, what raised that concern? Because we've had the numbering system and the identification system here for 4 or 5 years now after one of the Homeland Security audits. So, what drove the new concern?
I don't
think there
really
was some-
remember.
Yeah, it was about the numbers being sequential
Right.
and being able to identify easily. I haven't looked at them, but they jump around a bit. So to know, and I don't know what the numbers are, but like 115 is here, and then the next one should be like 117, odds, evens, and then of course matching up with the inside of the buildings, and having them marked accordingly. if for some reason fire had to do a room to room
Sure.
search or place.
And I don't think it was actually going against us. It was just a topic that's one thing they've noticed is that the building, numbers aren't aligning right. So,
Right.
and so then when we do come out with a map and we do come out with a plan to make sure that map is at the fire department, that map is here, so that it's
Okay,
all.
so
Map
it was,
is
so it
more
was, it was
than-
a general
It
question.
was
Yeah,
a general
okay.
type
That-
of
that
thing.
was my concern.
It wasn't
a
like,
critique
oh,
of
you're
what's
doing it
happening here.
wrong. No.
No, they're
No.
like,
Okay.
Yes, they are labeled.
Oh, yeah, no, that
Yeah,
I knew.
no, it wasn't
That's
against,
what
it
was
wasn't against
confusing.
Epping. It was just a general,
Okay.
discussion that happened.
Okay.
And then
Yeah.
we spent some time around the school emergency evacuation go kits.
Mhm.
So we're doing some inventories happening on what is there, how many more would we need, updating them,
Yeah.
looking at what should be in them, making sure we have an ample amount and that they are ready to go.
yep, our school nurses are working on that right now.
Yep.
And then lastly, our next meeting is scheduled for January 8th.
Awesome.
Let me check
Thank you
that.
so much. Fields and facilities,
Mhm.
we don't have that.
We
in
don't
the
have
draft.
that
Okay, I won't cross it
Nothing is
off because it's Matt's paper, but
just wanna make sure I
we don't
have
have
that.
that. And New Hampshire School Board Association, Robin, any updates?
Not really.
Not since you're.
No,
not
no.
since
I mean,
the
we're just
session.
basically waiting. They're going to be doing with all of the bills that did not get voted on at the end of last year. They're going to be brought back in January. I think Bill had some discussions with Barrett Christina,
Yeah, and
I had some discussions too. There's, we've got some pretty big impacted stuff that could possibly come up, and we'll be updated on that. But we won't know anything until they really get voted on in January is when they're going to come, and that's the old stuff.
Mhm.
So then they'll start working on the new stuff. So
they're tracking a lot.
they're tracking over 60 educational bills. So,
Lots of
Thank
good
you.
information.
and of course, a lot of mandates with no money coming with it.
Well,
Great.
there's no surprise there.
Yeah,
Okay,
you said
superintendent,
January.
thank you,
right?
superintendent reports.
So the only thing I wanted to bring you up to date on is EFAs, Education Freedom Accounts. There has been quite a ongoing discussion around them. And when Education Freedom Accounts first came out, there's some restrictions on how students could access public schools. And so, just to be clear, EFA accounts are not the same as homeschooling. In homeschooling, students received no money from the state, and those students had access to public schools, meaning that if a child wanted to come here and take a Spanish or participate in our football program, we allowed them to do so, and that was part of that arrangement. When Education Freedom Accounts came out, and obviously they're still relatively new, those access to those types of public schooling was not afforded to them. And so some did not like that. So they were collecting their $4,500 in their Education Freedom account, and then the public schools are saying, you're not our student, you do not have access to the public school in addition to getting your Education Freedom account.
Mhm.
And the state gave us direction that that is how it works, and that's fine, and that's how it's been going. In the past 2 years, there's been a number of reported cases where a family will take their Education Freedom account money, apply to a school to take a SST or a CTE center or so forth, and then the public school would say, I'm sorry, that's not how this works. You either take the money or you take public school, one or the other. You don't get both kind of response. And I'm not going to get political here. And so then these are documented cases. This did not happen in our district. They would call the EFA center, which we do know that there's some concerns in their operations that has been brought up both publicly and no oversight in how this is done. They would issue them a form letter saying that this parent has withdrawn from the EFA process and now are eligible for public schools settings, anything. And so, as you can imagine, that did not set well with a lot of public schools, because now we have to have additional students that we receive no funding for and provide them basically the same thing that we provide all our public school students, and these parents are double dipping in a lot of ways. Our State Department came out with a technical advisory. I have included that in the board packet in the public as well. They have changed their tune, and now Education Freedom Account students are eligible to participate in public school as well as collect their education freedom account money.
Of course they are.
So we have a choice to make, and this is really going to come back to Robin and I to work on, and that's policy. If you read through this 5-page technical advisory, we cannot deny a student the right to participate in public school, even after they've collected their education freedom account money. However, we do have the right to charge them. And we can come up with a formula based on per pupil cost or so forth, whether that's per class, whether that's per athletic program, but we do have to have this in policy. I do not have the right just to say, I'm charging you this, you this, you this, or not charging you at all. So the direction I need and Robin needs as we develop this policy, and the New Hampshire School Boards Association is not developing a policy. They have said, no, we are not, because we know that this is very divisive with some districts wanting this and some not. So the decision and the direction I need from you is, and it doesn't have to be tonight, do we wish to charge EFA student a tuition, let's say, if they are to participate in schooling and extracurriculars here, or as a district, do we want to treat them very similar to what homeschoolers were, where we did not charge homeschoolers access to our facilities and so forth?
I'll jump out on that.
Yeah.
I say yes, I think we should. I think there should be a
Absolutely.
formula for any of the sports or extracurricular activities, and then there should be a formula for any of the class or SST activities broken out. We'll figure out a formula, but yes, I think they should. They're getting funding from the state that would have come here if their student was formally enrolled here, and that would have been distributed out appropriately over those activities. And if they are choosing to not attend here but want access to that, then I think those public funds should come back to the school that they would have gone to originally.
And the courts are allowing them to skim off the system. That's exactly what's being allowed. A loophole has been found.
There's a pretty significant cost for a student to attend SST, and I think I would be very much in support of recouping that cost for SST. The other activities, I think it's good for our community. These are Epping residents
They
that
are
are playing
residents.
that are playing baseball, that are joining a Spanish class, which, let's be honest, it's not a huge expense for us. Whereas a $2,000 tuition to SST or whatever the per pupil is that's
Adds up.
adds up. But for a community member, again, an Epping resident who's joining our baseball team or our soccer team or our theater production, I'm not sure I would support charging for that. We're not talking about 100 students.
But
No.
they're getting paid to
I
not
understand that.
come to our school.
Well, I'm not sure they're getting paid.
Well, they are. They're getting
accessing-
paid.
They're
They're getting paid.
choosing. They're accessing a fund.
They're
that is,
getting money from the state to go to another school, right? Or
They're not going. They're
for their
it's kind of.
educational funding.
I don't want to say they're homeschooled. They're not
They're not
homeschooled.
homeschooled.
Right.
It's
This is not
EFA
homeschooled.
students, which are
Right,
slightly
so-
different.
so,
but
Yeah, like a Sacred Heart or a Portsmouth Christian Academy or a Berwick Academy.
Which
I don't
are all
know.
private.
I'm not exactly sure, but I definitely there is an expense to send kids to SST. I think it's reasonable to expect them to. We would support that, but we're going to charge you for that. I'm not sure at the moment where I would land on the
that's
other
fine.
things.
I just wanted to.
Yep, that's just me.
Because
Other people can
the
jump
superintendents
in.
are starting. I have Raymond's and Northwoods at this point, and superintendents are starting to collaborate around this. And so I just wanted to be prepared because it is one that I feel is kind of time sensitive. And so I would like to have a first read in December, whether that's first meeting, second meeting, or whatever.
Is the New Hampshire School Board Association willing to help us, or can give us guidance on a formula if we
No,
choose to go
so
that way?
they are staying out of it completely, and that they said consult your own legal if you wish to
Yeah,
consult.
because they don't want to
consult
get
legal.
stuck in this.
Well, I think
Yeah.
their own membership is divided.
Yeah.
There's some who feel one way and some feel the other, so they're not coming up with two policy examples. They're just staying out of it.
So would the superintendents, would you all be working together to like, how do you come up with the because the state can't come up with the formula.
No, so
how
I
do
wouldn't
you
say
come
all
up-
superintendents. I'd say there's a certain group of Seacoast superintendents that we associate with, that we
Mhm.
share ideas and different things with. I guess is the easiest way of let's work on this together.
So how would we come up with?
Not as an official like association, whatever. It's just
Yeah. So how would we come up with the formula?
so I would start basing it off of cost per pupil, and then
Mhm.
start going by okay, if the average child has 5 classes a day, what is that, right? That's just a starting point, right? Just for conversation's sake. That's how I just say roughly what would that be. But Julie has some good points. Does it really add that much per child? No, yes or no, but at least it gives us a starting point to have some conversations. And some things are more expensive than others. Tuition to $4,400 is quite an expense that is easy to calculate. Here it is. This is what we're charged.
I think another question that maybe rides along with this, or it's at least tangential, is if they're not homeschooled, they're EFA.
Yeah.
So how do we develop the access for that? Like we have requirements, whether you're a homeschool student or an in-person student, on what your academic responsibilities are in order to be able to be eligible to participate in any of that sort of stuff. I think
So we can still set the prerequisites for courses and stuff. So whatever currently exists for our students, we can still then have those same expectations for any incoming student, like an
Okay.
EFA student. So there is typically language that will say at the determination through guidance recommendation and principal approval or something like that would be some of that language.
Okay.
So they could come in basically and say, I'm going to do 3 classes in your school, right?
Mhm.
I'm going to play basketball. I'm going to play soccer, track and field, whatever. And we're getting 0 funding for that student.
So again, this is where every local district has the authority, right? There are districts who might say that. We might say the first 2 classes are at no charge, but any additional class is a charge. Like this is where those conversations would have to.
But what I'm
Be
saying,
had.
what I'm asking you is that if we didn't have a formula, right, we can't refuse it.
We cannot refuse.
We
it.
cannot
That's correct.
refuse it. That's the new thing. So they could say, I want to do 4 classes here. I'm going to play soccer. I'm going to play basketball, and we're going to get 0 funding for that student.
Well, we are able to charge the family if we have a policy that
If
says
we
that's
have a
our.
policy. But if we decide not to charge them,
Mhm.
we are going to eat the cost.
We would get nothing if we choose not
Of
to charge the child.
how many classes they want to take, how many sports they want to play, and we're going to eat the cost. And they're getting money already for an EFA. And none of that is coming to us.
In the example you gave, that's accurate.
Yes,
I
that's
think we have
accurate.
to define, I think in the policy needs to define what constitutes a student here. So if you're taking 4 classes and you're at EMHS, does 4 classes, that's a half a course load, or that's almost a whole course load. That defines you as, so maybe part of it is defining what constitutes taking a class and what constitutes a part-time student and a full-time student. Because that's part of the conversation, because like I know a couple of students who the middle high school is A day and B day, and they only come on A days and they don't come on B days, but they're still considered students because they're perhaps enrolled in VLAX or whatever. So I think defining,
Mhm.
providing some definition, if a student comes if it's a 7-hour school day and they're here for 3.5 hours, does that define them? They're enrolled, they're in our system and enrolled.
And we would be getting,
Right. Well,
We
that would
would
be
be getting
if
funds
you're
for that.
enrolled in
From
if
the
you're
state,
enrolled,
right.
we would be getting
if you're
funds
here
from the state
3.5
for that.
hours, you're enrolled.
Right.
You're I mean, I think we're not talking about homeschool. So if we're talking about these kids are going somewhere else, they're probably not going to
Right.
be. They're probably not going to be coming here for 4 classes.
Well, I'm just saying, I mean, you can see where it's leading.
So they can be homeschooled as well, by
Yeah.
the way.
Okay.
Yeah.
But if they're getting the EFA account, then currently that's where they're making a distinction between the two. Are you a traditional homeschool? Here's what that looks like, and
Yeah.
you do have access to
Yeah.
to us. Whereas EFA accounts, up until last couple of weeks, did not have access to
Right.
public school, but now they do have access
Mhm.
to public schools.
What's the reimbursement from an EFA? Is it around 5?
It's around 5,
Yeah, it looks like
5,000.
it's
4,500.
Yeah.
It depends on what
I think it's 4 to 700.
special ed, not special ed, identified, or
It's free and
it's-
reduced. You can get up to $10,000
there's a formula that they have that
Mhm.
determines that
per
amount.
child.
And I like the idea of looking at it from a credit standpoint of how much they're learning academically here in the building. I lean on the side of if a student is, let me backtrack. If someone's getting EFA funds, and forgive me, I'm going a little bit down a couple levels for my
Mhm.
knowledge. If someone's getting EFA funds, how does that impact any funding going to a public school today from a state level? Obviously, it's a bucket of money. Does some of that get taken away before schools get allocation?
It is. It's typically
Yeah.
taken out of your adequacy
Adequacy
account.
Okay.
aid, so we can't count them as a cost
Right.
per
Okay.
pupil. So when we're getting adequacy aid numbers, if we have 897 kids that are Epping students, but 4 of them are EFA students, then we can't count them in our numbers.
that's
so
like
then
40
that decreases the amount that
4,500,
we
whatever.
receive back from the state.
I mean, I look at it, my concern is how many of those folks would come in, and yes, no additional cost if we have room in a classroom, right, in theory, but then you start looking at other services that may be needed
Mhm.
or may not, right? That's a wild card. I look at it at the very least is what that EFA payment is to them should be directed towards the school that's
Exactly.
educating them. That's how I would look at it. I mean, we work on formulas to make it, systematic and obviously across the board, but I don't see how someone could double dip, grab those funds and remove funding from the school. It's a workaround. So if we don't shut the workaround,
That's
you'll
my
have
issue.
more people funding
Right.
it that way.
Because once they find the loophole, and they have, now it's
Took me
now
a
the
little while
courts
to
are-
get there.
Yeah.
I'm there.
Yeah,
I
the courts are
understand
saying
what
it's okay.
I certainly am
adequacy
concerned that it's an
numbers.
end around too.
It's an end around, right?
You have a lot, so they're going to a school that doesn't have to meet the same educational standards that we do.
Right.
So perhaps they decide to take a course here because they feel they're being underserved at the school they're going to for whatever they're getting in at. Or from what I've heard from friends that I have that have had children go to some of these other schools, they don't offer some of the same programs. Like they don't have a music program, they don't have a band
Mhm.
program, they don't. So they're now supplementing right now for free what they're not getting somewhere else
Right.
with, I guess it's probably not fair to say an easier workload, but perhaps not as stringent of a workload as what they'd have if they were attending here. So it's a concern to me that this is a way to shore up that end of education instead of allowing those investments to stay in public schools.
Any
Okay.
other thoughts?
Anybody else?
We will attempt, and we'll bring back some.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay,
I
thank
mean,
you.
we'll look at other, I mean,
And do take a chance to, if
we'll
if
talk
you
with
want.
other districts.
Yes.
Pretty
We'll
dry,
look at
but
other districts too.
there is
Yeah,
the state technical
bulletin?
advisory in there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, we're moving into policy.
The first one is JBABR. As requested, there was 2 specific areas, one being restrooms and one being locker rooms. If we could provide language that still met the requirements of the current laws, but also still supported students. And so I'm going to read out loud what I've come up with for restrooms and locker rooms. It is in red there, whereas before those sections were completely stricken out because they did not meet the current law, where in previously students were able to identify what gender they consistently identify as and use those locker rooms or those restrooms, whereas now the law is very clear about it's a gender assigned at birth. And so that's just putting it back in perspective. So number 4, restrooms. The district will work with the transgender student and their family to create a plan for restroom use that supports the student's comfort and safety while also considering the privacy needs of other students. If the student or family requests additional privacy options, the district will offer reasonable alternatives such as a single occupancy or staff restroom without requiring their use over the student's objection. And what did I mean by that last sentence there? Meaning that the district would never force a student to do that. However, we would still be within the confines of the law. And the current law says that the child would use the restroom of their gender assigned at birth. So I wouldn't force a child to use a single occupancy or one of these other restrooms. But if they didn't accept that as the alternative, then I would have to follow the law, which the law is this is the bathroom that you're assigned to. And then I'll just read number 5, and then I'll open it up for any questions. Number 5, locker rooms. Given the additional privacy and safety considerations in locker rooms, the district will collaborate with the transgender student and their family to develop an appropriate and supportive plan. When the student or family requests added privacy, the district will provide reasonable accommodations such as private changing areas, separate stalls, or a staff facility, or alternate scheduling, balancing the needs of the student and the broader school community. So I know this has been going back and forth, and I've had many private conversations with everyone, and obviously my role is to represent the will of the board, which is the larger public as a whole. What you have presented here, in my opinion, meets the needs of the law, while still recognizing that some additional supports may be necessary for students. And so there's my attempt, and I'm just going to run away now.
I just have a minor, I guess, question or critique about the restroom portion. So you lead with create a plan for restroom use that supports the student's comfort and safety, but then following up for the broader community while also considering the privacy needs of other students. And I'm just curious why it appears that it's a focus on comfort and safety for a transgender student and just privacy of everyone else versus comfort and safety for everybody.
I'm going to attempt to answer your question, Ben, and I think it comes from some of the conversations we've had right here when I'm trying to draft this, and that some of the considerations were very mixed, as we know, and that if I'm a female student in a bathroom and there's a genetically male student in that bathroom, there's some concerns around that child. I'm not considering the transgender in this example right now, just the children. Am I comfortable with this child in here with me, right? And then the focus has always been on the transgender child and making them comfortable. So in my response, I really tried to make it, I care about all students, and I want all students to be considered in this. However, when it comes down to it, I will obviously have to abide by the law and the policy where that distinction is. I don't know if I answered your question, Ben.
Not exactly.
Yeah.
So,
Damn it.
You're not saying,
it was a
can
good
I
try.
try? I
Yes.
think you're saying, why are we not considering the comfort level of the
And the safety.
comfort and safety of not just the transgender student? Why is it not referenced in here, the comfort level of both?
Oh, we can
Of
easily
both.
That's
Am I-
that was the question.
Am I
Ben, that's a
catching right?
good
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, that was the
change a
question.
couple of words. Perfect.
yeah, that was-
Because we wanted
because that
address
is the
comfort
attempt, but
of the comfort level of every comfort and safety of all
all
students.
students.
Correct.
Gotcha.
That's what I
Thank you, Ben.
I guess that's my thing is I'm not happy with the word transgender in it. I wanted to say that and I know the district would. The district will work with families to help any student. If you're going to identify transgender students, you're making a special class of people that you're catering a policy to. And I think that is what it ignores the rest of the group of students. So I mean, I just think it's like our job is to protect all students and then to come up with an appropriate plan for all students, because you may have students that aren't comfortable going into a whether it's a male's room or a woman's room. I'm not even putting transgender in there. There may be issues with eating disorders, people who are overweight, people, just uncomfortable. Maybe there's situations going on that they feel like they can't go into a woman's room, but they need to go into a private stall somewhere. So I know that it's our job to work with anybody that's having any issues and has any concerns, whether they're transgender or not. And when we shouldn't be identifying a group of people.
Except that's the title of the policy.
I'm not in favor of it anyway.
I know, but
so.
this is a policy that's been in existence for many years. I
Not
get what you're
many,
saying that
many
we want to
years.
address,
It's
but
been in the policy, yeah.
well, I'll say when. Anyway,
Yeah.
the title of the policy, JBAB-R, is transgender and gender nonconforming procedures. So I get why we're talking about transgender
Right,
in
and
this
it is
one.
a policy that
There's
was.
probably another policy that referenced
It's
sort
a
of the
policy
all
that was
students.
recommended by the New Hampshire School Board Association to rescind, a policy that was recommended by our attorney to rescind, 2 attorneys to rescind, a policy that was recommended by our superintendent to rescind. So, it's not a policy that I approved of years ago.
I'm not sure our superintendent recommended that we rescind it. I think he's bringing it to
I think
us
he,
to make a
I
decision.
think he did recommend the opinion of the New Hampshire School Board.
I was following the recommendations
Recommendation of the New Hampshire School Board
Boards
Association.
Association, and then
Right.
obviously then we had much further conversations since then.
Yeah.
All right. Well, other comments about this? Are you looking for a vote tonight?
I would love a vote if we could get it that far.
What are we on?
I mean,
If-
do we
if,
want to
however-
do we want to
I
put
think
this
it's
to rest?
if I think with minor changes that Ben suggested, then I think a vote would be possible around. I don't know what language suggestion where, but I can easily take it back and work on that. Or if we have that right now, then yes. Let's be fair. This board has worked really hard and very professionally at addressing this, and we know we're going to be split. It's just the way it is, however that falls. And so whenever that vote is, it's going to be split. So that's all.
I think the only other way to try and resolve this would be if we absorbed this policy into the more general student policy, and I can't remember the policy name off the top of my head right now, but I know we have another policy that's similar to this, and I think that's the only other way to
Discrimination one.
right
Yeah,
to handle that is
discrimination.
to massage this into that general policy somehow. I don't know that would. I don't know if there'd really be an effective way to do that and alter language a whole lot more than we already have here. And I don't know that we really gain anything by doing that exercise, at least not tonight or in the next couple of weeks. That's just my opinion on it.
Ben, as you're talking, can I just read the sentence that I think tell me if this meets your needs?
Yeah.
On number 4, restrooms. The district will work with the transgender student and their family to create a plan for restroom use that supports the student's comfort and safety while also considering the privacy needs of all students? Or do you really want it to say supports the comfort and safety and privacy needs of all students?
I think the comfort, safety, and privacy needs of all students
Okay.
would, as the end of that sentence would.
Can I throw a suggestion for consideration?
Yes.
Of course.
The district will work with the transgender student and their family to create a plan for restroom use that supports all students' safety and privacy needs.
Much better.
I don't know that we need comfort because, I talked about this last time. Like, things that make you uncomfortable don't necessarily make you unsafe and don't necessarily compromise your privacy. We need to provide people with appropriate privacy, and we definitely need to provide people with safety. I'm sorry if you're a little bit uncomfortable. That's sometimes just life.
Can I just read this once back? I'm sorry, I think I interrupted you, Jen.
No, I was
Sure.
done. No.
The district will work with the transgender student and their family to create a plan for restroom use that supports all students' safety and privacy needs.
I
Mhm.
think that addresses it. Please speak up if you don't agree.
I can get on board with that.
I like the
Yeah.
change of that.
I won't be supporting it. Only because it has the word transgender in it. Take it out, I'd support it. But that's not
Okay.
gonna happen, and that's totally fine.
All right. Before I start throwing the words out there, do we feel like we want to vote on this tonight? Before I, is there a motion?
Can I ask
Yeah.
one more
I
thing?
think
That
you
in the names and pronouns section in number 3, what does that actually mean? That change in red, that the provisions shall be construed consistent with the rights of staff, school staff,
I
and
thought you
students.
might ask that.
I didn't know this.
So it has to do with there is some. It has not happened in New Hampshire, but it has happened in some southern states. And so you, as employees of the school, have rights. I, as the district, don't have certain rights to take away from you. So, for example, Ben doesn't believe Billy should be called she and her pronouns. I, as the employer, can't make Ben use those pronouns. That has been shown in higher court as well, because it now goes against. I cannot force my beliefs as a district for him to compromise his as a person, and I'm doing a really crappy job of explaining it. But that's what it means, is by saying we can ask, hey Ben, as an employee, Billy prefers that you use she and her. Please use that. Bill, out of respect, I'm not going to do that. Thank you so much, Ben. I appreciate you considering it, but I cannot force the employee to do that.
The
Right.
employer
They cannot
cannot
lose their
direct free
job, they
speech.
cannot be on suspension, nothing can happen.
Yeah, I've seen a couple of those.
Yeah, and
They're ugly cases. They really are.
but the teachers have won every one.
The teachers have
Mm-hmm.
Alrighty then.
All right. I'm going to go for it.
Go.
Do I have a motion to approve JBAB-R with the changes that we had that in terminology in number 4, which revolved around restrooms?
So moved.
Moved by Ben, seconded by, I'll second that, Julie. All in favor?
Aye.
Hi.
That's a 3?
Three.
Okay. All opposed?
Aye.
That passes 3-2. Any abstentions? I don't think we have any, because that's 5. Okay. We're gonna move on.
Next two,
We'll come up again.
more typical policy, and just first read.
Okay.
But EHB is our data records retention. There is quite a bit of changes here in that we just wanted to make sure that it's been 5 years, and are we making sure that all of our data and records retentions are meeting all the requirements of the law and so forth. And as you can imagine, those have changed. What you see highlighted here are all the additions to that, what our current policy is. And then I'm just going to take them both at the same time since it's first read. EHBR is the local records retention schedule. And this has been updated slightly, but really what prompted a lot of this is really just making sure that our practice is meeting all the needs, and our CUME folders and everything are in line. And so that's what you have before you this evening, are just the changes to both those data and records retentions.
I love that they did a schedule.
Yeah.
It really helps the district out to understand what you can keep and how long and stuff. I thought it was awesome.
Did this come from the School Boards Association?
It did.
Mhm.
It does.
So I've been asking about this for a while, and we haven't made any headway on it. Would you go back to the School Boards Association and ask them about a school board member email retention policy?
I will, but I think I will, but I think I have an answer already.
If it falls under the general correspondence, great. But if not, because we're not technically employees, so
Right.
I'd really like to see that distinction in there on what qualifies as something that we need to retain and what the time frame is on it. 'Cause
Yeah.
I feel pretty comfortable in my judgment, that spam and things like that are pretty safe to get rid of. But any communication I've gotten from a member of the public, some of the communications that, or I shouldn't say some, the communications that have transpired between another board member or a superintendent or any of the members of staff, I've hung on to, because there is no clear delineation on what a time frame is for those.
There isn't, but I will say we've had some conversations, and it really depends on your own system. So if your system overwrites itself every it automatically takes old stuff out every 30 days, 60 days, 120 days, or annually, that is usually what the answer is, right? We cannot produce records that we don't keep, right? And so then the question is, are we under any obligation? Like some of these records, we are under obligations to keep them for a minimum certain amount of time. And you're right, that is a gray area, and it continues to be a gray area, but I will ask the New Hampshire School Boards Association again.
Okay, and I guess my follow-up to that, being in the business where there are some strict schedules set depending on types of correspondence, I'm sure Matt could probably relate to this very well. If they don't come back with something more stringent, then I really do feel that we should set something up for ourselves on what is a reasonable amount of time. While I appreciate wanting to have the information available, should there be 91A requests and things like that, you do have to look at what the scope is that you're going to allow, because if you continue to hang on to things for forever, depending on anyone's tenure here, there could be things that come up that took place, 10 years ago,
Right.
that they would have the ability for discovery on if we don't have some type of records.
I will come back at the next meeting with
Can I,
some sort of.
Ben, can I get a clarification? Are you talking about like communication, or you're talking about like, because stuff that's put in our drive,
That's different. No, I'm talking
yeah,
about
they
emails.
would be keeping all
I'm
that.
talking about
Yeah.
emails. Like if we get something, if somebody sends
So
something
you're
to
talking
you
like
at,
basic
Robin
emails and,
O'Day at
yeah.
Epping SD,
yeah,
that's something. If we're communicating amongst our, member to member, there's a level of quality. That's probably not the right term, but there's a level of quality that you hit for each type of email, and there's usually some kind of policy set for what meets the requirements for a certain
Yeah.
period of retention. Like anytime we've gotten an email that's come in that someone has made a 91A request that's come to the school board email account, how long do we need to hang on to those records? Do we need to hang on to them? Because obviously it goes to the
Yeah, I don't-
superintendent's
I don't
of
think
the
we would
SAU
have- right.
office. So that probably doesn't
Right.
need to live in our email for a decade.
Mm.
I just don't know, and
No.
I haven't deleted anything since I started. So I've got about 10,000 items in my email, and that's not spam. So I'd like to
I
know
will
what
ask
can we
Ben.
keep
Yeah,
away.
and
But I
stuff
will
that's-
tell you the
stuff that's not a quorum,
the
yeah.
the guidance has been keep them less, because
Of course.
just like you said,
Yeah.
like if we get a 91A request and say I want the last 10 years, if you have it, you have to produce it.
That's right.
If we had a policy that said we only keep 1 year worth of stuff because by law that's it, then that's all we'd have to produce.
Correct.
And I'm not saying we're trying to hide anything, it just gets to be a pain in the butt.
Yes.
And these requests are getting more and more ridiculous. I got one the other day for 6 years worth of stuff, and it's like, no, it's like I don't want. We didn't have what they were looking for, but it's like no.
And there's two bills out with those requests that are even going to be more challenging on the districts to have to provide.
So I just want to
But
get
to
us in a
me, dump it
position
after
where
30
we're
days,
safe.
just that way you don't have to worry about it.
Well,
When you-
also they can. I mean, even if you delete it,
They can still
somebody can
recover
find
it.
it.
Right.
If they
True,
needed
but that's
to.
a difference with a 91A versus like a subpoena are two
Right,
different
that's
things.
different,
You
right,
know,
they can't do,
yeah.
right.
And
Okay.
even with the subpoena, again, if there's a standing policy, that usually factors in as well versus, yeah, they deleted it. Okay, well, if your
Yeah.
server hasn't been wiped because it's not in your policy to do it, we'll hire a
Yeah.
data specialist to go and find it.
Yeah.
Well,
Because they're gonna
that's the
look at
piece.
they're gonna look at motions and quorums, and that's really kind of what they're.
Those are the easy ones.
Those are
yeah.
the easy ones.
Those
yeah,
are
but-
kept and
Yeah.
produced.
So I spent a few years in litigation support, and it's amazing what gets attached to emails and
Yep.
gets buried, even though, so whatever that retention policy is, it needs to be. School's out.
We have the kids are working really hard this
You're in
evening.
the What is that? Is that
It was
like
an extended day.
Extended
We're making
day.
up for all the PD days they have.
Oh.
A baby was born.
But
Just like ding, ding.
we need to
That
tie it
is on the
in with
hospital.
Gmails and everything else.
Yeah.
That it's a systematic purge to a point where, like for myself, my professional world, at 3 years, 1 day, it disappears.
It
whether I
disappears.
want
Yeah.
to or
That's
not.
what you keep it. Okay,
Um,
I will get
so-
an answer.
Yeah.
That would be the part I
Yeah.
agree. It has to be.
In my, for me, 30 days.
Okay.
So-
Anything else on
We don't.
policy EHB and EHBR?
No.
All right. Personnel? No personnel? Okay. Financial, business, and district services?
Loader, is that?
It's just the only thing we're bringing up is the loader. Josh is here, so he can jump in whenever I do not know what I'm talking about. He's welcome to jump to the
Sit at
table.
least closer.
and
Or
fill
you
in
can
the
sit at the
blanks.
table.
Yeah,
Um,
please sit at the table. Yeah.
Join us.
Basically, Josh has done a really great job, and he's gone out and met with several dealers and looking at different pieces of equipment. And we want to make sure that we get the best piece of equipment that suits our needs. The point to this whole thing is making sure if we purchase something that we can use it for other things other than just pushing snow. So there was talk about a compact loader. There was a few other discussions around different things. We thought about renting a piece of equipment for this year to see if the compact loader would suit our needs. Josh had some fears of the loader tipping if it had too much weight. Other of his own internal fears of this loader, smaller compact loader. The bigger loader, if we were to purchase a full-size loader, would require our staff to have a CDL license in order to drive it to the town to pick up salt, sand, to bring it down to store it, because the town has said we could store the piece of equipment there in our off time of not using it. So if we had to drive the full-size loader down the street, we would have to have someone with a CDL license.
They have to be CDL licensed for use on premises.
No, just if we bring
But
it on
once
the
you get
on
on the
main
once you get on the
road.
public road,
Yeah.
I just want to make sure. Okay. Because
Yeah, once
that'll
you
lead
get on
into
the
a question I got
public
later.
Yeah, so in Josh's homework, he went out, he found another piece of equipment that seemed to be a really good option for us. It's kind of fits a couple different places for needs for us, so it's a loader / backhoe. There might be a better word for that, but
It's a backhoe loader.
so a backhoe loader. There we go. I said it in reverse. A backhoe loader.
Now I know what you're talking about.
There, I messed you guys up when I said loader backup. So the backhoe loader, for anyone that may not know what a backhoe does, it digs holes, right? It can dig trenches. It can help if we need to dig something. If we were looking at doing irrigation in the fields, eventually this piece of equipment, we would have to hire an outside company to come in and dig the irrigation. We could dig it ourselves. We've had times that we need to move heavy objects. This particular piece of equipment could actually lift this heavy object and move it for us, where our trucks could only maybe hold 800 pounds of weight. This thing could hold like 2,800 pounds of weight. So it's able to, and do not quote me on those numbers, but that's about the gist I got of it. This thing could actually pick rocks up, pick them up and put them down where we needed them. So, so when we look at finding
Getting
a
late.
piece of
It is getting late. Yes,
equipment
it's a bit punchy.
that also suits needs in other areas. This one seems like it is the most versatile piece of equipment that we can use to push our snow. We would put the 12-inch, 12 foot.
They say 12 inch.
12 inch, just this big of a push box on it. It's gonna push a lot of snow.
Yeah.
No, 12 foot push box on it. It's gonna have all of the other pieces, and Josh can maybe just talk to what those pieces are, but it'll have other like forklift and other pieces that we could
So
also use
attachments,
with it,
other
other
attachments,
attachments, as well as it can dig holes. So in the backside to this is that they do not rent this piece of equipment because of its specialty and its cost. It is not a rentable piece of equipment. So we would have to be pretty committed to this purchase, and through Josh's discussion that you'll hear from him and my little spiel.
How much?
Know that we've done the legwork, and we do feel this is going to be the best piece of equipment to suit and be more versatile for us. So the cost that we've gotten is anywhere from about $158,000 to about $189,000 is the SKU. But on the good side of it, the one that is the cheaper cost of the $158,000 is the one that we prefer to purchase. Josh has met with the company. He actually got the opportunity to sit on this piece of equipment and dig holes himself with it. The company's been great to
Boys'
work with.
dream.
We use a company called Sourcewell, which is a government company that provides municipalities discounts. So I hooked the town up with this Sourcewell a couple of years ago, but we use it all the time too. So when you go out and shop, some companies will honor your Sourcewell discount. This company does honor that, and with that discount, I think it was like $28,000. $44,000 that
nice
they were
discount.
knocking off the price through our Sourcewell connections that we have. So I think I've done the spiel of opening it up, and if you guys have questions, I would say throw them at Josh because he's probably going to answer them way better.
Does that machine allow you to put the sander on and off the truck?
Yes.
So that it's strong enough and capable?
Mhm.
I know that was one of the challenges.
Yeah, the machine we have now does not. We're
Understood.
still waiting for the town's help.
Yeah.
To put that in our truck.
Probably be completely separate and proficient on
Right.
that, on your leisure versus waiting.
Right.
Yeah.
The 158,
So
is
we
that
would-
with the discount?
Yes.
With the
That's
40,
with
with the
With the
44,000.
Sourcewell.
Yeah,
they're
the
one of
158, that includes a hydraulic thumb for the excavator stack of the backhoe, a manual coupler for the front of it so that all attachments are easy to use. You don't have to get out of the machine to change equipment, which anyone who's used equipment will really appreciate that. And it's safer, right? You don't have to get out in the middle of a snowstorm to change
that's
from the
such a
bucket
good
to
thing,
the
yeah.
snow pusher. That also includes forks, 12-inch snow pusher, and that price also includes.
But
uh,
12
12
You just
She got it in my head. Yeah.
It's gonna take a while.
Little Gumby. Little Gumby's pushing snow.
12-inch snow box. What else?
See, I got it from
What's that?
him.
So
He's the
I-
one who told me
thumb,
12 inch.
forks, 12-inch
Thumb,
God,
forks,
that's,
12-foot snow pusher, and the manual coupler
Okay.
for the front, the bucket to switch to the snow pusher. And that price also is with a 60-month, 12,050 hour maintenance based on
That's good.
based on owner's manual specs. So oil changes at the hour, at whatever hour that it says, filter changes, air filter changes.
Will they come? Will they come
Correct,
and do the
on
service?
site
Perfect.
here.
So we don't have to truck it off
Can,
to chapel.
Josh, can you say that again? 60 months, what did you say, 12,500?
60 month, yeah, 1,250 hour.
Oh, 1,000.
And that's based on
Yeah.
based on my estimate of our usage for it as like probably 250 hours per year, give or take. So they base that on, and it also comes with a 60-month, 2,000 hour premier warranty as well.
Oh, good.
With
And
that
you'll be able to
usage.
transport the salt with that, right? You'll be able
So-
to put it in.
So we'll be able to go because this piece of equipment, the gross vehicle weight is actually 20,000 pounds. We have to be under 26,000 pounds for non-CDL use. So
Oh,
we
good.
could follow the trucks to the salt shed in the town without them there, fill our own salt,
Yep,
come back,
Perfect.
switch to the push box,
Mhm.
the 12-foot push box,
Yeah.
and then push snow again.
Perfect.
So we would not need the town. Yeah.
That's
So if we
good.
were going to do that, would you feel comfortable not having a salt bay here to have salt on premises and have a couple of employees come in however much earlier in the day to load the truck?
I think that's definitely doable. That's short term. Right now, we're probably not going to be able to build Salt Bay before winter.
Right. Obviously, that
So
would get
we're
us through this
obviously-
year, but I'm just trying to think a little bit further down the line because one of the follow up questions that I'm going to have is, or I'd like to see all of this get purchased or budgeted out under the impact fees, the Salt Bay, rather as I appreciate that the town's offering to store it down there, but for the ease of use and the access, if we're going to have to build a salt bay, I'd much rather see it spec'd out big enough to hold this piece of equipment so it was here on premises.
Right.
And I know the town has already offered to truck salt up here for us. So
Well, we could do that too. We've
Yeah.
got the dump truck, and we could just go down and fill our own.
Well,
and
that's what I was
bring it back.
asking.
Right.
You could-
So
We'd be
yeah,
completely self sufficient at that point.
Well, that's what I thought. You'd go down there with the truck and, just fill your own. Yeah.
yeah, I'm just looking at ways to try and
For sure.
limit the amount of wear and tear on our equipment. If they're
Yeah.
willing to come up here with a 10-wheeler and fill up
Right.
the salt bay,
Yep.
a week ahead.
Yeah, and I mean-
Let's let them put the mileage on their truck that's already
Right.
designed for this, And I think it's great that we could use that piece of equipment to load our vehicles here in the morning when we need to start using it, so we don't have any waste with stuff freezing inside the box or anything like that.
Right.
But let's try and keep as much stuff here on site then, so we're not burning hours and miles going down the road, because driving around here at 10 miles an hour plowing or doing excavation work or anything like that is way different than trying to drive along at high RPM going 25, 35 from here all the way to the town
Right.
salt.
And we'll
and
still
back.
need to do that for fuel, unfortunately. But that does cut down on the trips.
Right.
It won't
Sure.
be every
That's
morning to the salt shed. We'll be able to. It's got a 36-gallon tank. You know, that might get us 2 months. You know, depending on how much snow we get.
Sure.
It could get us
Where do you
6
get a
months in the
fuel?
summer. When what's
Where do
that?
you get a fuel?
Fuel at the
Done
state shed.
State shed.
So you
just
can-
just
you-
before the town.
Okay, so
Yeah.
you
That's what
can.
we do.
Okay, I just was wondering if you could do that. Okay,
That's where we fill our trucks too.
okay, no, that's good.
Is the vehicle available right now?
Yes.
Okay. Gotcha.
Yes. Yeah. The only thing.
That's what I missed too.
Just
The only
not
thing
12
is
inch.
Right here
all.
tonight, so we
Just
can.
not the 12-inch.
Yeah.
Yeah, 12
Just
special
so
order.
the only thing is that
It's on back order.
The 14
all
inches.
three that I've looked at. I've looked at Cat, John Deere, and Case. All three are about a month to a month and a half out with the 12-foot pusher. So they said basically whenever you give us the go, we're like 2 days away. You can have the loader with the thumb and the coupler and the
Oh,
forks,
perfect.
and we can drop that off. But it's still a month and a half out.
We're not getting any snow till mid-January.
Well,
We're not getting
I
any
hope you're
this
right.
year.
Going to the
But
almanac.
we can still push snow with the
just
with the
turn
bucket
into
on the
a
front.
rain.
It just won't be as efficient.
Cool.
Oh,
With
makes
that,
sense.
and not that I love the idea, but is there any possibility of being able to rent a box from some, because like
Yeah.
I
Yeah, I
know
mean-
they've got the tractor already sitting down at Brickyard
Yep.
Square, so some contractors must have some if they're not already committed.
Yeah, and we
Or
could
could we
rent one
rent it
even
from Sunbelt or
even
somebody?
from a local place.
Right.
$3,500 a month, I believe, is the price point. So if that becomes the case, like if we're like, crap, Friday's a storm's coming,
Yeah.
and it's Tuesday, we could rent one, but they're not going to charge us a per storm. We're going to get it for the month,
Right.
but that might get us until we get this piece of equipment. So yeah.
I think
And I
we
can
need to
put that
have
in place,
options,
kinda-
but with
yeah.
the bucket and our trucks, we'll make do until that 1 month passes and we get the.
Yeah, we have all the funds in the.
So we're not. Yes, we don't need a
Yeah.
further approval.
All right.
That was my next question.
You've
Yeah.
already approved us to spend the impact fees as
Right.
has the town. We just came with because
Yeah.
there was still further
Sure.
conversation. So really, we're looking for consensus. If you're giving us the thumbs up, we give Josh the thumbs up and we move forward with it. And if you had issues with it, then we come back to the board later again.
So I just like to throw out, obviously, the one change from that is like the equipment we had already talked about. I don't know that as a board, we've made a decision about the salt shed and that construction about doing that out of impact fees rather
Oh,
than having it in the budget.
Well,
So-
it wasn't the budget. It's in the budget. This
So
salt
it's in-
box.
There is money this year in the budget for the initial salt box. The additional money that was put in for next year was to build it larger in case we needed to store it.
We basically split it over 2 years. Year one, this year, kind of being the foundation for it, and next year being the roof, the overhead structure. But if now we're talking about being able to use impact fees, like right now, we wouldn't be able to store this loader inside, especially during the summer, spring, summer, and fall months. And if we had salt, we definitely wouldn't be able to put it inside anyway. But we also have the new truck that we have that also doesn't fit into any garages either. So it's we're kind of, because the town's kind of putting us in this situation, we're kind of, the equipment that we have and that we need to move the snow now is bigger equipment, and we don't have, it's just a regular 8-foot garage door, and we can't get our plow trucks in there, or unless we can fit it in there and shut the garage door, and we have like this much room if we take the spinner off the sander and we take the plow off.
Sorry, disassembling it every time. That
Yeah.
doesn't make sense.
What are you
Correct.
looking at for building material? Are you looking at a wood structure? Or are you looking at a metal structure?
It would be concrete foundation with
Concrete?
wood.
A wood roof?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, asphalt.
So
Yeah.
I
Well, yeah,
think-
but I mean, it's going to be structured.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think regardless of whatever, I understand that there's already some money in there, but again, because we're taking this on because the town doesn't have the equipment and at times, and maybe not the personnel to be able to get up here for the timeliness that we need. I think we should, rather than having that additional money in the budget, because I know we're looking at ways to try and bring the budget down even further. This is an impact because of things that have changed in town.
Mm-hmm.
I think we should leverage the impact fees that are going to expire.
Yeah.
Get
absolutely.
a shed, the salt bay and an attached shed that has the room for the equipment and all the pieces for it, and the equipment that we have, and like electric for the glow plugs, whatever we need so that we can maintain the stuff and not have to worry about transporting back and forth. Because the only other thing that would upset me is spending this much money and having stuff sit outside, whether it's on our property or the town's
Oh yeah, we don't want it. We don't. want it to rust
DPW
and
lot,
stuff. Yeah.
and watching it start to rust away.
Mhm. And the most important thing is we don't want to lose this money
Right.
for
Right.
impact fees.
Yeah.
I mean, we
We
want
still
to be
have a
able to use it.
We have a year or two,
Yeah.
a couple of years anyways, but, so the decision then, I would say is, if we're in agreement, is that yes, if, go ahead with the purchase of the piece of equipment. As far as the shed, we're not planning to get one done now, between now and
Understandable.
this, so
Like
that
a
we can get some preliminary numbers, we can get some preliminary understanding, and come back to the board before you actually. I like Ben's idea, but I'm not asking you to say yes to it without having some of that more information,
Mhm.
and we have time for that piece of that.
And I think it's just a
question.
bad time of year to try and get something like
Get
that
something
thrown
like
together at this
Oh
point.
yeah.
I think
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I think
No,
spring,
absolutely.
summer, and going
Yeah.
into next snow
say
season
summer,
will be
but yeah,
yeah.
It's
Completely
stored
understand
at
that,
the
but yeah, to have the
town for
numbers, so
Yeah,
spring,
because there's a lot
start
more, like,
planning.
You can't just put a salt bay anywhere because of its runoff,
Right.
because of the salt's not really salt. So
Mhm.
Yeah, and we've got the wetlands, and so yeah, no, I imagine that there's gonna be more to it than just, it looks good there.
correct.
Yeah.
All right.
All right.
So we
Super.
don't need to approve anything. We already did that anyway.
Good.
The impact.
Thanks,
fee.
Josh.
Awesome.
Thanks for the homework.
Thank you.
Cannot wait to see the new equipment.
Me either.
Come on,
My
try.
guys cannot either. They're already making lists of things we can
Picking up.
do. Yeah, picking things up and putting them down. Yeah.
Yes.
First thing is the grass knoll.
Yeah, the crosswalk to nowhere.
The crosswalk to nowhere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what we're
All right.
Great.
All right.
Thank
Did you ever
very much.
notice
Thank
that?
you so
Thank
much.
you.
There's a crosswalk
Yeah,
that it
that's
just goes to the grass knoll.
Yep.
It doesn't really go to
You're a glutton
traditional
stand this whole time.
driving. It just goes to
one of the ones.
It goes. It's a
Oh.
crosswalk for the grasshoppers and squirrels.
Where was we gonna land with the loader?
It's just good to have the information. for
Yeah,
the,
yeah.
Yeah.
For
The
sure.
due diligence and the hard work you guys put in. So
Yeah,
Thank
appreciate
you so
being
much.
here.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming.
Thank you guys.
Thank you.
All right, we are going to the approval of minutes, public meeting minutes, October 2nd. The reason we are going back in time is because
Wow. Yeah.
they weren't
They're missing.
available.
Weren't
They weren't
That's- there you go.
available, and so here we are. So,
Yep. We did. Yeah.
are there any comments
that
or
as well.
questions about the October 2nd, 2025 minutes? If not, do I have a motion to approve
So
October?
moved.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Robin, seconded by Ben. All in favor? All opposed? That passes 5-0. Public meeting minutes from November 6th, 2025.
I wonder, it seems like we're maybe mixing up the 16th and the 6th and the 13th. Maybe
yeah?
a little bit, are we? Because the 6th was contracts, that was their contracts, right?
I'm looking at my calendar right
No. Yeah.
Yes.
Oh,
was-
yes.
was-
And
Yeah.
then the 13th
Yes, it
was
is.
budgetary things. That's
Oh, so
Robin
I
wasn't
think it
there
could be
on
the label.
13th.
So it was the non-public on the 6th.
There were non-publics on both, but Robin was present on the 6th,
Right, but I wasn't on the 13th.
but not on the 13th.
Right.
Oh.
And I believe the topic on the 6th was their contracts, and then the 13th topic
Was
was
the budget.
the budget and
How it
how
impacts.
were we gonna address that.
Yes.
Right.
Okay. Yes.
Yeah,
We did
you're
have
right,
the
because
non-public.
The 13th would have been an
The
off
non-public
week,
on the
that was last
6th
week.
was
Yeah, because
to
I have to
address.
abstain from that one
This
because
was
I would.
the
I wasn't here.
budget. The
So it was
13th was the
contracts.
budget.
It was contracts and compensation, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
But was it also this? Was it also that night? Or was that
No.
more, that was more
This
the,
was from the one that's dated
13th
November
is
6th was
definitely
the 13th.
budget.
I think we've
talk.
combined them kind of,
And
I
then
think,
the
because we
6th.
don't typically have them week to
Well, and
week
because
after week.
to be
Please,
fair, Bill
they
wasn't.
weren't-
They
yes.
weren't in at the November 6th non-public.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
That's right.
So our
Are you
But
clear
those
on
were-
the changes we have to make? Because
I
I'm not,
am.
but
I got it.
you got it. Okay, we'll take the and,
Okay.
and we'll
Because
make
I
the
will
changes.
vote on
But
the
there were
6th, but I can't
public
vote on the
meeting.
13th. Right.
So there was non-public meeting minutes on the 6th that are not on here.
Wait.
Right, because there's
Okay.
public meetings on the 6th.
We had a public meeting. We had
On the 6th.
on the 6th. We had a non-public
Public
first, and then we had a
non-public.
public.
So we
So
are
we don't
missing
have
the
non-public
non-public.
or
We had
missing.
more non-public
So the
after that.
And then we
non-public
had
ones
after
are
we came back. We
missing.
also went back after.
So missing the non-public on the
So,
6th as
but do
well.
you approve of the public ones on the 6th?
I didn't have a
Start
problem with
there.
those.
I think the public ones were right.
Yeah, the public ones are okay.
Okay.
Yes,
You need
I
to
didn't
vote
see
to
any.
approve those ones.
That was
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
So I make a motion to approve
yeah.
November 6th, public meetings.
Okay.
Minutes.
I'll
Non,
second.
Moved by Robin, seconded by Jen. This is the public meeting minutes from November 6th, 2025.
Okay.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? That passes.
So you're
5-0.
missing the non-public on the
missing for
6th,
On the 6th.
and the
for
one
those
on the non-public
contract.
meeting for the 13th are incorrect.
Correct.
Yes.
Got
That
it.
should be the budget talk one. I got it.
So we're
Okay.
not gonna do anything on the 13th?
No,
We
we
take
have
out
to-
the
rest of
13th?
them.
we'll-
Oh,
we'll
we'll
I
make
can't
correct
vote
it.
on anyway, but I just wanted to make sure what we were doing, yeah.
Nope, got it.
Okay.
Thank you.
Going to the manifest.
Julie's favorite part.
Yes, it's not bad tonight.
No, it
I
isn't.
think they're all except for the last three. I'll do the first. I'll do the first three individually, and then the last three together. If that makes sense. Accounts payable deposited on November 4th, 2025, in the amount of $3,103.
So
Second.
Moved by Ben, seconded by Jen. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? That passes 5-0. Accounts payable deposited on November 7th, 2025, in the amount of $800.
so moved.
Second.
Moved by Ben, seconded by Jen. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? That passes 5-0. Accounts payable deposited on November 14th, 2025, in the amount of $262,343.21.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Ben, seconded by Jen. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? That passes 5-0. I'm going to read these three together. Payroll deposited on November 7th, 2025, in the amount of $342,166.05. Payroll deposited on November 7th, 2025, in the amount of $98,711.12. And payroll deposited on November 7th, 2025, in the amount of $1,987.82.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Ben, seconded by Jen. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? That passes 5-0. Board comments. I'm going to start with you, Jen.
Okay.
What did I say here?
I want to say congratulations to boys soccer for a very
Mhm.
successful season, and I went to the game too. I know you did as well, and thought we had it, but it was still a very, very good season. So, and then secondly, I was a bit missing from this budget season due to some other things, but I'm just so impressed by all of your work and questions and being so thorough. So, well done, team.
Ben.
Not much for comments tonight. I'd just like to say I appreciate that we had a couple members from the budget committee sitting in tonight to listen to the discussion. That was a welcome change from years past, so I hope they enjoyed their time here. Maybe they'll join us next session as well. And that's it.
I echo, it was great to see the budget team here representing and participating and providing comments. Previously to tonight, said the process has been enlightening and eye-opening from my seat, being involved in it from start to finish. So it's great to see them here.
My thing with my big question was the repeaters. What's going on? That's what I want to, and I got a play-by-play for both the soccer team and the football team, but unfortunately it was a cold night. They were up there too. That soccer team. It was cold. But great seasons by both. Nothing to be ashamed of. They did a great job. And I think that's it. I mean, just I wish everybody a happy Thanksgiving before, because we're not gonna see you until after that.
That is next week.
Yeah, it's next week, right?
Yeah.
Am I right?
Yes. Yeah, you're right.
You're
It's
right.
next week, right?
This,
Yeah.
this
Just a
one's flown
realization.
by.
I know, yeah.
It's crazy.
But I think, I don't think I have anything more to say. I've always said enough, so.
Christine?
Just the same. I really enjoyed the fact that there was 2 members of the budget committee here. As we've seen in the past, they've never come to our board meetings to educate themselves, and even one stayed to hear the loader discussion. So
Yep.
I think this new connection that we have has been really nice. So I enjoy that, and I wish everyone a happy Thanksgiving.
No comment. I'm all good. Everything's been said.
I have nothing.
What?
I know. I have no. I've spoken enough tonight.
Well, you did a good job with the
Yeah,
labeling,
I did.
but you.
Thank you. No, we all did a great job.
Yeah.
All right,
you know.
our next meeting is December 4th, 2025 here at Epping Elementary School Media Center. I think it's wonderful that we are now streaming live. Thank you for the efforts to stream
yes, there was
live
a live link.
and
It looks fantastic. I should have shared that. I was watching while I was trying to finish work
Oh,
tonight.
yeah.
And that's
Oh.
I thought you were gonna say while you were driving.
No, no. So I missed about 6 minutes driving here, but it looked and it sounded phenomenal on the live feed.
awesome.
Oh, good.
Good.
Can I ask a
Yeah,
question
live
before we
right now.
close out? December 4th meeting,
Mm-hmm.
when are we gonna be doing warrant articles? I know I'm doing the budget
It's
committee
not
for
till
you
the
on the
fall.
10th.
On the 10th, yes.
On the 10th.
Okay, so on the 4th, I just wanna be able to, if we can put it on the agenda so I don't forget about it in my brain. I want to under, I don't know what we put it under Trump. I want to be able to get feedback from the board, on how, as school board representatives for the budget committee, how they want us to vote on certain things, because I have a very strong, strong belief that I am not an elected budget committee member. I am there as a school board representative, so I have a tendency to refrain from voting on town budget-ish warrant articles, because that's not what I'm there for. But I will vote on school issues. So I just want to get a feedback from the board on how you all feel like that, because I don't make motions as a budget committee member, because it's just, that's not what my role is, and I don't want to do that. So and other board members might feel different who sit on the budget committee. They want to do it their way, but I feel strong about that.
So
You
you
know.
want our input on December 4th about how we would like you.
Yeah,
as
whether you're
board
okay
budget-
with the fact that I refrain from voting on town issues, and it's really, we're there to represent school issues and vote on school stuff, whatever pertains to the school.
That sounds good. We can do
So,
that.
just think about it and just, just like kind of what we do with the delegate assembly, right?
Yeah.
How do you, because my right to vote as the school board member is when I'm at the ballot.
All right.
So-
Well, I think that's gonna close out our meeting.
That's
We're
it.
Gonna
Motion to adjourn.
motion to
Motion
adjourn.
to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Yes, I was trying to hold it till the end.
Yeah. Motion made by somebody.
Bill.
Bill.
No, I-
Somebody made it.
I'm just reminding you to
Ben,
make a
yes,
motion.
thank you, thank you.
We'll just go. Ben made a motion to
All right.
adjourn.
I'll make a motion to-
Ben-
I'll second it.
Julie just-
Ben made a motion to adjourn and Jen seconded that, and we do not have non-public. Good night.